Welcome back, everybody, to the 2026 Asian Esports Chess Cup, where the quarterfinal, the knockout stage, is about to begin. We have lost Fabiano Caruana along the way, who did not qualify, but a certain Magnus Carlsen did. And let's see if we have pairings for the last 8 standing. Here we go, Magnus Carlsen facing Amilal Munkdalai, international master. Magnus, of course, favorite going into that one. Then we have Tin Jingyao, who survived the group of death against Susanto Megaranto. There was a mix-up there because Susanto, I think, was listed with 2 accounts, so he did eliminate Alexandra Kosteniuk. And in quarterfinal number 3, we have Quang Liem, now their top favorite, now the 2 seed after Magnus Carlsen, against Jose Martinez. This is a big one. 2 well-known blitz specialists facing off. And quarterfinal 4 is also a heavyweight battle. Andrei Yesipenko, coming fresh of a candidates tournament participation, against Salem, whom we just saw eliminate Fabiano Caruana from the tournament. So 2 absolute heavyweight clashes in quarterfinal 3 and 4. Magnus Carlsen, at least on paper, has the easiest pairing going into this knockout stage. As far as I know, producers correct me if I'm wrong, they switched to 2 games played, 10 minutes with no increment. So every player will play with white and with black, and then if it's 1-1, there will be an Armageddon. Let's have a look at the playing hall if players are already taking their seats behind the screens. No, no one's there. There we see Lei Quang getting some last-minute tips for how to deal with Jose Martinez. That people still are looking very busy, but the players aren't here. So if we assume the games continue 3-ish, there should be an hour for the quarterfinals, 4-ish the semifinals, 5-ish the big final. Should note that no one's ever truly eliminated. The matches for the places will continue, I've been told. But of course, we will focus on who makes it to the semifinals and to the final. Even though there are some small delays, I think what matters most is to have the likes of Magnus Carlsen, Fabiano Caruana here in Bangkok and seeing so many chess fans. You can't see them there. But in this hotel, getting to see these stars perform live, I think it's a great thing for Thailand chess, even though I'm not sure it can rival my many participations in the Bangkok Chess Club Open. This is the next best thing. And we will switch to Fiona, who has Andrei Yesipenko. Let's see how he likes it here.
I'm here with Andrei Yesipenko, who has qualified to the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals are about to start soon. We actually got some pairings, but apparently they were wrong. Do you know who you're playing next?
I'm not sure. I know that it's wrong, but I have no idea who that is.
Because actually my last interview was with Jose Martinez, and he thought he was playing you. How would you feel about playing Jospe?
Well, I don't really care who to play, so if it's Jose, then it's also fine.
This morning, actually, your group was quite tense, right? It was the only group where, in the end, Kosteniuk and Megaranto played an Armageddon to the final spot. But tell us a little bit about your road to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I won, I think, first 3 games against Kosteniuk, against also some players, and then in first round I played against the kids, 10 years old, I guess, and actually I sacrificed my rook, and I thought I'm mating, and I made the move, and I thought white's still playing because like I thought I get the win immediately. And suddenly he just moved his king. I just completely forgot about the square, and I realized after this I completely my position is completely lost. So yeah, he just after that he crushed me with extra rook, and I had to win last game against Megaranto, and the game went well, and I won.
And that was it. You're in the quarterfinals after a little scare. Did you see your opponent? Was he the one with the red training jacket? Because as you said, he's only 10 years old. Did you actually see him? Because here...
I'm not sure. I just saw a picture in Twitter and Instagram that he beat me, and he was in red jacket. So I know him from Twitter and Instagram now. Yeah.
It's difficult here, right? Because usually the players face each other, but here sometimes it's not clear, right, who your opponent even is, or did you always know where your opponent is sitting?
I don't care to be honest. I just I played like I play on chess.com. It's like
Whoever is
yes,
there.
whoever is there, yeah, you play.
You, of course, have some experience because you were in Riyadh last year for the Esports World Cup. How does it feel now to be playing in this format in Thailand here in Bangkok?
Yeah, it's always great. I like to play in this format. Also, I played, I think 1 month ago, I played in Atlanta, USA, qualification for this year's World Cup, and I qualified. So I have a good, relationship with this kind of format. So I like it. Yeah.
Do you hope to see more esports events going forward?
Yeah, I would like to see more any chess events. Yeah, it's very nice.
Andre, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on making it to the quarterfinals and good luck.
Thank you.
And we're going to go back to the studio with Jan.
Thanks, Fiona. We missed that. Yesipenko lost to a 10-year-old, but he did not let that stop him from making the quarterfinals. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Great to see more chess events of any kind. If you like esports or people sitting at the board, WR Chess certainly has brought us a lot with this tour through Asia with the Philippines Backhouse event, the women's event in Tokyo, Japan. Now we are in Bangkok, Thailand, and the circus is moving to Hong Kong, to the World Rapid Team Championships, right after that one. So very exciting to see all these new events popping up in Asia. We are awaiting the championship stage of this Asian Esports Chess Cup, featuring Yesipenko, who we just saw, certain Magnus Carlsen, Megaranto made it, and other stars remaining feature Quang Liem and Jose Martinez. Salem also there. I heard there was some confusion about the pairings, but I'm sure it will all be settled soon. I can spend some more time looking for the ideal sitting position here. My legs are a little long to sit like this. It's a bit like being in, admittedly, very nice plane. Although on the plane you usually feel awkward doing this. Thankfully there's a computer standing there because you're blocking like your neighbor's seats. But here, I guess it's all right. Okay, give me some pairings. The ones we saw on screen, were those final pairings? Are we doing a repairing? Sometimes you gotta repair the pairings. No one's there? Pairing's not ready yet? Player's not ready yet? Can't be that hard, right? It was announced beforehand, like A1 versus B2 and so on. Hang on, I can check the format, and then we calculate our parents. Our parents and our pairings. Happy to help. Official regulations. The pairings on the screen were wrong. New ones are being done. These regulations are long. Blah, blah, blah. All right, got it. Winner Group A versus runner-up Group B. So let's figure this out. Group A was won by Magnus Carlsen. He is facing the runner-up from Group B. That is Jing Yao Tin. Carlsen versus Jing Yao Tin. Then we have winner Group B versus runner-up Group A. That means Salem is facing the runner-up of Group A. And that runner-up is Jose Martinez. Salem, Jose Martinez. Then we have winner of Group C versus runner-up Group D. This is a bit confusing because of the Armageddon, but runner-up Group D is Megaranto. And the winner of Group C, I'm getting there. I think I'll be faster than the new pairings. Group C, winner Quang Liem, and that leaves us with one final, Amilal versus Yesipenko. Let's see if my pairing reading is confirmed by the new pairings. There you go, Carlsen, Tin, Jing Yao, Salem, Jose Martinez, Quang, Megaranto, and Yesipenko, Mung Dalai. Next time, guys, just ask me. Don't ask me for anything. I am fairly useless. But the new pairings seem to be correct now. Bad news for Magnus Carlsen, getting a much tougher opponent, at least on paper, in Tin Jing Yao, the young up-and-coming grandmaster from Singapore. Well, we still have some high-profile matchups in Salem versus Jose Martinez in particular. All right, so now that we got the pairing situation adjusted, how's the time situation? When shall I play? 3 now? I guess we could start at 3. It's a nice round number. Let's do that. Then next round at 4. I mean, semifinals at 4. Finals at 5. Nap at 6. Dinner at 8. That's all there is. Off to Hong Kong tomorrow. Let's see. If the organizers agree with my plans, are the players seated? Three minutes, I'm being told. Okay, close enough. Ran into Magnus Carlsen and his longtime trainer, Peter Heine Nielsen, earlier today. Peter Heine Nielsen at a WR Chess event. I'm not sure if they're doing any last-minute preparation. Some pep talk. Magnus Carlsen facing a dangerous opponent, but he has done so before. Now we see Fiona taking a selfie. Take some pictures of the players, Fiona, not just yourself. And Jose Martinez, ready for action. winner shall be declared Asian plus chess esports champion and awarded the gold medal. The loser shall be awarded the silver medal. Reading the rules, let me guess. The winner of the bronze medal match shall be awarded the bronze medal. Yup. The loser shall be ranked in 4th place. That makes sense. No medals for 4th place. There's also a plate championship. Places 5 till 8. That's specified. Salem is back, maybe the toughest quarterfinals on paper. Salem versus Jose Martinez. Closing rating. Salem doesn't look that nervous, does he? Looks happy. This is a chess tournament, sir. How dare he? There is Mr. Carlsen. How's that jet lag treating you, Magnus? Okay, looks fine. Yeah, no worries there. Is he still the favorite? If we assume he's a bit jet lagged? I guess so, no? Salem is rechecking the mouse. And Jose Martinez staring down somebody. Also looks mildly sleepy. Feeling not all these guys arrived a week before to combat that jet lag. But some of them might be using this as their first Asia stop. And then in Hong Kong, they will be more rested. We shall see. Jose Martinez lost to Carlsen, but still made it through the group stage because he defeated his other close rival, Jan Emanuel Garcia, was it? And there we see the 5-time world champion in classical chess, focusing on his next assignment against Tin Jing Yao. Got to do a bit of stretching. Oh, even Salem is showing signs of fatigue. Players aren't very experienced with the dynamic scheduling, keeping them on their toes a bit. Okay. I did check the clock. We're starting in 3 minutes, 5 minutes ago. So according to my math, we're good to go. I wonder what Caruana's doing now. I think he's already visiting, I don't know, the Vertigo Sky Bar, enjoying a view of all Bangkok. Maybe he's more of a Lisboa Towers type of guy. That's also closer to here. But we shall find out later. Games are about to begin. We shall start with Mr. Carlsen against Jing Yao, the Singaporean Grandmaster. Magnus with the white pieces. And pawn to b3. Terrible move, allowing black to occupy the center. But what to do? Can only teach these guys so much. They still keep making strange decisions on move number 1. Black going for a solid setup with d5 followed by bishop to f5. That is a universally playable setup. Generally, one knight f6, h6, making a luft. Then bring your pieces out. Magnus won't be too unhappy with this turn of event. He clearly telegraphed. Let's play chess. I think knight e5 is something they sometimes do here, but Carlsen goes knight c3. That is unconventional. Trying to get Jing Yao into deep water. Now he could follow it up with e4. Knight c3. Maybe was mandating. Different reply, but knight d2 played. Carlsen just wants a King's Indian type of structure. But now black could play c5, e4, knight c6. Get a good position. Knight d7. That gives white a little more to work with. Now d takes e. Queen e2, f4, e5. Nothing too bad, but now with this bishop sort of locked up. Queen to e2. Now this feels comfortable for white. I think the way to go here was c5, e4, knight c6, keeping the tension. Now Carlsen, working his Carlsen magic, already has a fairly comfortable position. Pawn to e5 played. The problem with this bishop here is after f4, f5 will make it look very awkward. Magnus not in a hurry, stops b5, goes to a4. Wouldn't be surprised if he even throws in king h1 and whatever, rook d1 before going f4. Yeah, knight c4 doesn't seem to be in much of a hurry. Not even sure if he wants f4 or if he just wants to play. Put this pawn on f3 and play this structure with this bishop locked up. Yeah, that is his choice. Computer said f4 was much stronger, but this is a quote-unquote cleaner choice. Just blocking out that bishop, and then he can rely on piece play. Bishop h3, king h1, go for some fancy knight maneuvers. Still an unpleasant situation for black. There we see his opponent playing very quickly, not falling behind much on the clock, which of course is also important. Even though his position is slightly unpleasant. Now after f3, bishop h3. Company thinks it's not that much. He could go bishop c5, bishop d4, knight b6 played, intending to exchange the powerful knight. But I'm assuming the knight will go away and leave the black knight on b6, slightly misplaced. Yeah, that's what happens. So black could work on improving that. Goes for the pin, but this pin won't last forever. Carlsen goes knight d1, intending to recapture here if black chose to take with the knight, also making sure Bishop d4 doesn't bother him, setting up some semi-pin here. Still, so far nothing dramatic happened. The knight goes to f2, breaking this pin. I guess black should also improve his knight a bit. Let's head it back. Can white also head back now? Arguing after knight b6. There's a pawn to take. Rook d1. Knight f8. That's the route he chooses. Gotta pay some attention to the e5 pawn now. I was thinking knight to d3, but I guess bishop to d4 still keeps things more or less under control. Yeah, knight d3 plate. Bishop d4 plate. Takes and rook takes, but there are targets. Knight c4. Carlsen is smelling. Nothing like the smell of pawns in the morning. The black pieces are still a little clumsy. This is a normal pattern, but with the bishop on h7, the knight on g6 looks slightly funny. And white could keep improving, chasing pawns here, benefiting from his bishop having a clear line of vision. While the black bishop not doing all that much. So Magnus Carlsen has outplayed Jing Yao Tin here. And it does look pretty tough to keep this together. Maybe that will allow us to do a quick peek into the other games. Salem against Jose Martinez. Complicated Spanish position. But it looks like with these rooks not being able to join the attack, the black should be very comfortable. Sorry, we can stay here a bit. Jose Martinez weighing his options. Could take here, put a knight on e5. No, I think black is doing very alright. I understand, it wasn't a Spanish opening, but it's very much a Spanish structure now. Okay, let's continue our tour. Quang Liem in a Berlin structure against Megaranto. Has built up a nice position. It does look like things are under control. Wasn't a Berlin at all, was some very random line of the QGA. This line is not supposed to be very good for black. And one thing about Lei Quang is he knows stuff. You can't really bluff him. Yeah. White putting pressure. Yasipenko not doing great against Mung Dalai thus far. If anything, I would argue slightly worse. These weakened pawns, but nothing too dramatic happening. So let's go back to Magnus. Magnus picked up a pawn, and there's not really lots of counterplay for black. Compy says G takes H4. Jesus. Someone use that elevator. That door will make me lose my mind. I like that whenever I say Compy says G takes H4, but it doesn't look natural. I played King G2. The Magnus makes the Compy move within 3 seconds. So maybe it's not Compy, but good players say G takes H4. Weaker minds would have played King to G2. White 2 pawns up, not the prettiest pawns, but these guys are very pretty. Typically, pawns on f3, e4 restrict black bishop on this diagonal and the black knight on f6, taking lots of squares. So Jing Yao needs a miracle. Carlsen's knight on d3. Also doing a great job covering the squares that these pawns aren't covering, as does this bishop. Almost looks like Carlsen is good at harmonizing his pieces. Rook e8, hinting at some sacrifices, or knight to d5, but they're both easily sidestepped with, for example, queen to g5. Queen to f2. Getting out of harm's way. Carlsen offering the queen exchange, that will be politely refused. Guys, that elevator is torture. I'm not sure how they do it. Not sure if you can hear it. But there's this ding ding every 3 seconds. What is going on? This floor isn't very busy. Moving on. Magnus still winning. Knight f4. Queen d2. You can go rook e2. Now it stops. You just have to complain. Oh, and it's back. You don't have to brag about making it stop. Okay, Carlsen 2 pawns up. Not that exciting. And this is a very complicated position, as these structures often are. Black is either positionally winning or gets checkmated, or both. I'd lean more towards positionally winning. Don't see a checkmate here. Well, black has clear plans to make progress, like rook b8, followed by b4. But we know how dangerous Salem is on the attack. The knight will jump into f5, blast the board, wide open. So anything can still happen here. The problem is Martinez is also a great calculator, so I don't think you can bluff him with a knight sacrifice that doesn't work. And here, if we jump, takes. Apparently, it's just not enough. As long as there's no queen landing here, black just emerges a piece up with not that much play for white. Let's see how an attacking maestro like Salem conducts this. He goes bishop e3, keeping the tension, I guess. Rook to e8. Not going for the b4 push, instead stabilizing further. Bishop c2, saying, okay, if you don't do anything, I don't have to do anything either. Queen b7, hinting at b4. With a different supporter. Only move 34. This feels like it's been 100 moves of maneuvering, but not yet. And this is the Magnus Carlsen game. Okay, Carlsen's edge did not disappear, so we can stay with Salem Martinez. Sorry. Let's check back in with Magnus. Problem for black is even if he picks up the c2 pawn, The endgames aren't very pleasant. Black still can't build a passed pawn on the queen side, while on the king side white has a lot to work with. But what to do? Jing Yao is fighting. Carlsen taking his time here. Compy wants h5, which once again strikes me as unnatural, but as we know, whenever I say that, that move gets played very quickly. But no, Magnus still studying the position. This pawn is also under attack and maybe more serious than the c2 pawn. And how winning is such a thing? e7, king f7, not winning yet. Apparently it's slowly, still very good. King g3, king f4, king g5. But nothing obvious, which is why Magnus is taking his time here. He's still ahead on the clock. But of course, you can't overdo it. Can't fall asleep. And moves have been made. Pawn to f4, takes, takes, takes. And we're getting this endgame, which looks very, very bad for black. Still, the only source of quote-unquote counterplay is b5. But first of all, that's not a lot of counterplay. Secondly, the wise computer is saying this rook endgame is winning, which looks very believable. King g5 will come. Then rook c3. If needed, h5 or rook d3. But yeah, what else can black do? b5 takes plate. Now Carlsen can make a judgment call if he wants to eliminate that knight, go for the pure rook endgame, or play. Move like king g5, which also looks extremely strong. But no, he's not messing around. He takes and goes directly for this position, assuming that this extra material on the king side shall win the day. Rook a6. How do you win? Let's say check, king f8. Here. Not super obvious to me how to make progress, just as I said that. Progress, rook a6 or rook f2, that just gives up the pawn. Okay, now this should be hopeless. Yeah. This is hopeless, rook f7 check, picks up another pawn. White wins. So Magnus Carlsen still cruising. Is going to win his first game here. Once again, working his magic, choosing an opening that got his opponent slightly out of his comfort zone, and then effortlessly, well, he's making it look effortless, building up a winning position. What's he doing here? Is he making things weird? Nice, still completely winning. Not sure why he didn't take this pawn. Ah, he wasn't. Ah, no, it wasn't as obvious as I made it sound here. There's rook g4 check, which one should not allow. Sorry. But now rook check and e7. decides. The king can go back this way, and the pawn will cost black the rook. So this is over, and resignation should be incoming, or loss on time, whatever comes first. Magnus Carlsen. Guys, you have to tell me when you're switching back to me. Chilling here. Okay. Magnus Carlsen wins his first game. Let's have a look what else is going on. Jose Martinez is winning. Piece up against Salem. That's a big one. Winning with the black pieces. Megaranto and Le Quang have already started their second game after a draw in the first. Draw also in Yesipenko against Mungtalai, where the second game is running as well. So without further ado, looks like the second games are starting instantly after the first one. We can wait for Magnus to go back. In the meantime, we will watch Martinez against Salem. Salem now has to win with the black pieces, and he's acting accordingly. H5, hinting at H4, G4, and piece sacrifices. As usual, computer can only laugh at this, saying, if you want to, knock yourself out, but in a must-win with black. And it is his style to play for an attack anyway. This is very understandable. Still, white is better by just developing here. These guys are already deep into game two. Mungtalai with the white pieces. Probably a bit underrated against the established top player, Andrei Yesipenko. But Andrei suffered a bit in game one, was a draw. And here he's under a lot of pressure with black yet again. Looks like it's just very bad for black. Pawn to c5, trying. Yep. So Yesipenko in trouble. Le Quang doing well, and let us focus on Salem versus Jose Martinez. Salem in this must-win situation with the black pieces. Jose Martinez plays the natural moves, d4, rook b8, b3. Daring black to do anything. Black does not want to go h4 without a follow-up yet. So he plays a6, hinting at b5. Now, I guess I would stop it with a4, but it's always a tough decision because you're weakening some squares. But it's usually worth it. Let's see if Jose agrees. Other moves are possible, like pawn to d5, grabbing some additional space. I'm actually not sure where the knight would go after d5, but yeah, a4 played, bishop b2. That does look very, very sensible to me. Yeah, the black position is not pleasant. White has a little more space. Can easily make a bunch of moves and then decide how to handle the situation in the center. Well, if black never has his h4, g4, something takes g4 counterplay. This looks kind of unpleasant to play. Knight to a5, at least hits something. Queen d1 back, that's very humble. Why queen d1? That surprised me. Thought he would go rook a3 or maybe queen c2. But he goes back. b6. Now you could go d5. Leaving this knight a bit stranded. Then play it slowly. Queen c2. Rook e1. f4. One day. Go for e4, e5. Other moves are certainly possible, including the direct pawn to e4. Bit confused what's happening with the Magnus Carlsen game, because all the other games are deep into game 2, while Magnus' second game hasn't started yet. Maybe he disappeared for a break after his first game, wasn't aware that the show can go on. Magnus, we're on a tight schedule here. Knight c2, Compe is being critical. Yeah, a bit unclear what these knights are doing. Normally knights covering themselves aren't that well placed. He wanted to clear the c3 square for his bishop. But once again, not that clear what this achieves. He could not take, go d5 maybe. g5, wow. The leopard cannot change its spots. Salem is an attacking player. He is looking for violence on the king side. I'm not sure what his point is, though. Does he want g4? Because this looks like it's closing the king side more than spicing things up. If not, g5. Seems rather loosening. Let's see how he follows it up. Knight to d3 played. We're looking for a way to make the second Magnus Carlsen game appear here as well, but meanwhile, I shall focus on Jose Martinez against Salem. Where after this somewhat provocative g5, Martinez now has a decision. If he wants to light the board on fire with pawn to d5, but he takes on c6. Guess knight takes. Yeah, computer doesn't love this. If white doesn't get in d5, things maybe aren't so clear. Rook c1. White is still very solid, of course. Knight to f6, both sides dancing around this d5 break. Now if black gets time to do all these things, didn't get hit by d5, then he should be in alright shape. starting to turn on this and liking it more for black. And here we have the Magnus game. Cruising, doing well with the black pieces as well. With the two bishops, the rook being active. Magnus Carlsen good at chess is often the conclusion. And I think that still holds strong, even after he didn't do well in his last classical tournament, this Norway chess event. But here, he is so far teaching Jing Yao Tin a harsh lesson. What it will take to get to the next level. Jing Yao, 5-time Singapore champion, the highest rated Singaporean player. But I think he's also pursuing a university degree, not putting all his eggs in the chess basket, which is of course commendable. But Magnus, he didn't finish high school, but he will finish this game with checkmate. Bishop takes c4. What a hammer blow. Queen c4, rook b1 doesn't work, and rook takes b8. Bishop to f1. When g4, hg. Continues the agony a little bit, but there's not much to do. And yeah, bishop f1 on the board. You can see it on Jing Yao's face. He's cooked. g4, h takes g. Queen e1. This allows a cute finish. Bishop h2. g1 bishop, if Magnus wants to be funny. Okay, gets a queen, and queen g2 checkmate. Ruthless execution from the world champion. Tin Jing Yao looks like he got hit by a truck. No, I guess his cam is just frozen. Or both. No. Anyway, very, very convincing performance by Magnus, playing himself into shape here, like he's Shaquille O'Neal, and cruising towards the semifinals. Let's see how maybe his two closest rivals, hold on, oh, there's also Yesipenko, many strong players here, are doing. And after b5, Compi is saying knight to b4 should decide this in Martinez's favor. But knight b4 was missed, tending to take on a6, ab. ab thrown in, still this jump. Not sure what he dislikes, maybe he doesn't want to allow any queen sacrifices. This jump also looks very strong. My assumption is this would happen, but it doesn't look like enough. Yeah, knight f4 played. Salem agrees the queen sacrifice is not enough. But now after knight takes h5, the black position is just sad with all these weaknesses and the weak king. Take on g7, push e5 after king takes. I go cb5, also looks strong. Yeah, this is not a nice position. Rook d2, rook fd1. Keeping pressure. Yeah, I guess king g2, yeah. Can draw some arrows. Salem needs a bit of a miracle here, having lost the first game with white, to make it out of this one alive. Yeah, rook fd1 played. Now my arrows should come into play. There comes the queen. h4 could be next on the agenda. No, this is not good. Yeah, hard to see any hope for black even. He's so tied down. Whenever d6 falls, the whole structure will collapse. h4 is a big threat. If the king sidesteps, h4 is still good, for example. G takes h, and rook h1 will cause a lot of trouble. So I don't really see a way out. And Salem decides to run the other way with the king. King to f8. King g1, what's that about? Nothing wrong with it, but still looks like a mouse slip. Maybe there's a deeper point to it. I do not understand. Rook a2. The king keeps walking. Now f4 apparently. F4 was decisive. Because after takes, this is actually checkmate. Anyway, rook a6 was played, also looks very, very tempting. Yeah, the black position is just too bad. Rook fb7, but it's leaking everywhere. Queen h5, h4, d6 remains weak. And Martinez is a very nasty tactician, so I don't really see a lot of hope. We have, sorry for the jumps, we have quickly reached endgame here after h4. Salem could no longer take it, decided to simplify into this endgame. The bad news is the endgame remains completely hopeless. King to g4, pawn to f5, and these guys. This pawn mess on the, whatever that side is called, the king side, will win the game. Rook c3, making sure he doesn't ever have to think about c4 or d5. Now the king will continue his march. e5, also good enough. Also, let's not forget that a draw will do for white, which is why black doesn't go e takes f4, but e4, trying to keep a modicum of play, but after f5. You could also call it quits. There is no hope here, and yeah. Salem does resign. Convincing performance by Jose Martinez, going through to the semifinals. The pride of Mexico and Peru, eliminating Salem here, who had a very fine showing himself in the group stage, kicking out Fabiano Caruana, but found his master for today in Jose Martinez. Magnus Carlsen also made it to the semis reasonably effortlessly, and in Quang Liem versus Megaranto, Liem won with the black pieces, forcing his way to the final four, while we missed a lot of action in Yesipenko against Munkdalai, but Yesipenko did win the Armageddon game on time, also qualifying, continuing or completing the star-studded semifinals, where we now have Magnus Carlsen, Andrei Yesipenko, Jose Martinez, and former Blitz World Champion Quang Liem. So even though Farby decided to leave the party early, we still have 4 absolute top players in our final 4. Let's have a look at the pairings. Carlsen against Jospin. That is a big one, as is Quang versus Yesipenko. So we have two big matches coming up. We also have a big guest coming up for the semifinals and finals. Finally, someone with opinions, still liked by everybody, well-mannered, has millions of followers. Sagar Shah will join me for the semifinals and hopefully the finals. Keep me company. I'm not sure how we can fit him into this chair, but we'll use the break to figure that out. Looking forward to it. And we'll be back with the Carlsen Martinez semifinals. See you in a couple minutes.
Liam, congratulations. You're through to the semifinals after beating Susanto Megaranto 1.5-half. What were your thoughts on this quarter-final match?
Thank you. So the match started quite well for me. I thought I got a big advantage in the first game with white. I was a bit disappointed that I didn't convert it correctly when I played the move e takes f7. I thought I was winning there, but I missed this idea that he could sack the exchange, and then he got the perpetual checks. So that was a little bit disappointing for me. But then the second game, I think I played quite well. I managed to control the position from the start and converted my advantage. So I'm very happy that I got it through to the semifinals.
And in the semifinals, I think your opponent is sitting right there, Andrei Yesipenko. Have you played him much, and what are your expectations going into that match?
Yeah, we have played many times since he was a kid already, and I think the most recent was just last month. We played in the Atlanta tournament, which is a qualifier for the esports World Cup. So I had some experience with him. Of course, he's a very strong player. I think my score is quite good, so I'm gonna try to maintain that.
How was Atlanta, and also how do you enjoy playing in an esports format overall?
Yeah, it's a really new experience. In Atlanta, there were a lot of fans, and we had to wear the headphones during the game to block out the noise. Here, the spectators are quiet, more quiet, and I guess because most of them are not in this room right now.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you saw it, but there are a lot of fans in the room
did,
next
yes,
door, and
yes.
sometimes I can hear them screaming. So they are here. They're just in the room next door.
We definitely have a lot of fans here. But they are not in this room, so
No.
it's a little easier for us.
Different,
Yes, I really like the organization so far in this tournament. Very professional, very prestigious event. I think the organizer put in a lot of thoughts and resources to make it a good experience for everyone. So I really appreciate that. And I hope that they will keep this tradition for many more years to come.
Absolutely, we hope so too. And maybe just one final question before I let you go and have a little rest before the semi-final. How did the qualifier stage go this morning for you? What was your experience in the round robin?
I guess I got a little bit lucky with the drawing because in my group there were only me as a grandmaster. I saw that group B and group D were a little bit stronger, at least on paper, with 3 GMs, and that's how Fabi got knocked out after the group stage. But my group stage was very relatively easier for me. I won all my 5 games, so. So far, this is the only draw I made. It was against Susanto in this quarterfinals. So, but from now on, I'm sure that it will get only tougher and opponents are stronger. So we'll see.
Only 2 matches remain, the semi-finals and then the finals. Thank you so much, Lim, for your time. Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Best of luck. And we're going to go back to the studio where we'll have a special guest very shortly.
Welcome back, everybody. We are awaiting the semi-finals here. Magnus Carlsen will be back in action against Jose Martinez. We also have Yesipenko against Quang Liem. So 2 big semi-finals. And finally have some company. A big guest is here. Sagar Shah came all the way to Thailand.
Yes.
Sagar, how are you enjoying things?
I'm good. Jan, I thought like you've been commentating since morning all alone.
No coffee, no sleep, struggling. Thank you so much.
And so joining in here, and it's also a great time to join in because like the semis are so beautifully stacked up. Yeah, it's great matches.
Yeah, Fabi didn't make it, but we still have some super pairings with a bunch of legit world-class, especially blitz and rapid players. Magnus, Jose Martinez, super strong in these formats. Then Quang Yesipenko.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's working out nicely. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it seems like Magnus came in a very sleepy mode downstairs. And he was like, you know, just rubbing his eyes and all the time looking like he might just doze off to sleep. But he's playing really well. I think the quality of chess has been very high, yeah, Magnus is.
No, I agree. It might have helped him. He had 2 beatable opponents in his first 2 games, so he could be sleepy and still crush. But overall, I've learned with Magnus how he looks often doesn't impact how he plays. The precision is still there, even if it looks like he's falling asleep. But no, he's been impressive. Then again, this will be his sternest test.
Yeah.
By far. Of course, he's a favorite, but
he did beat Jose in the round robin stage already, right? So, and that was quite a smooth game. But Fabi getting knocked out was a big news, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, there were 3 good players. There was sort of the group of death, because Tin Jingyao, of course, is good, and Salem is good, but still Fabi.
Yeah.
Ideally should score more than half out of 2 against these 2.
Correct. And by the way, we see Magnus on our screen. He's been sitting there before the games. I don't think he's using his phone to prepare anything. Maybe just listening to some music.
I think he's on Instagram posting family pictures. That's what he's been doing recently.
And he's been obliging the fans here. You know, it's been Magnus who is in his chess mode, but also quite happy to interact with fans.
Yeah, it's nice to see, I think, in general. As long as he's not annoyed about the game, he's good at this stuff. And especially in Thailand, where I've been playing the Bangkok Chess Club Open for years, so I love chess in Thailand, but they're not used to seeing Magnus Carlsen. To see so many people show up here early in the morning. Also, the hotel is amazingly beautiful, but it's not central, so people really had to travel to come here.
It's far away from the center of the city, yeah?
So it takes an hour from any place to get here, and people were there at 9 lined up. So to see the passion for chess is amazing.
Yeah, this is a big event for the city of Bangkok and the country of Thailand to have Magnus here, to have Fabi here. And also, I was down there in the playing hall and I loved this setup. Everything's working smoothly, you know, one game after another. I mean, this is a great format.
I agree. The format has lots of potential now. It's running well. The usual teething problems I was complaining, and this doesn't start on time and so on, but it's the first time they're doing this. And now it's running well, and it's an event you can run in one day with qualification and knockout matches. So, no, I think this has a lot of future.
Amazing, amazing.
How do you feel about the esports thing? Because I'm usually being asked and I never have a good answer. If everybody's in the same location, why don't they just sit at a board?
But I just feel like playing on the computer has its own set of like small differences. You could see the players asking for their own mouse. I could see Magnus in the previous game making 3 moves at the same time, the pre-moves. And all these little elements cannot be done on a normal board. So I do feel that even if esports is played from the same venue, it has a right to exist. I think it's different.
No, I agree. Even not pressing the clock takes out something. So 10 minutes online is more than 10 minutes over the board. And as you said, especially these guys that pretty much grew up online, like Jose Martinez, mastering these, what pre-moves you can make at a time, this old man stuff I can never do, is a very special skill.
True, true. And I think, as you rightly pointed out, this is the biggest test for Magnus here, facing Jose Martinez in the semifinals, best of 2. 10+0. I also love the time format, actually. The time control is great.
Couldn't agree more. I've argued against increment all my life, partly because I grew up playing 5+0 and all this 3+2 always felt unnatural, but also as a commentator, viewer, chess fan, it's so much more fun if there's tension at the end and not these endless games continuing with 1 or 2 seconds per move. What's not to like? I mean, the risk, I understand, in a big open might be hard to control if people are throwing pieces, but in a close environment like this, why give extra time? I never understood.
True, and this is also the same format for EWC, the Esports World Cup. So in a way, this entire ecosystem of esports is developing quite well.
No, and I think they understand some things that maybe we forgot in chess, that it's important to have drama, and it's not bad if things get hectic in the end. It's sports, and there's supposed to be some excitement. So no, I'm very much in favor of the 10+0.
By the way, the games haven't yet started yet. Yes, Magnus is just sitting on his board. He is in that mood where he might be thinking about what to play as first move.
No,
the games have started.
They started. Always takes a second till they show up here, but we do have liftoff. So let's.
But it's Magnus versus Quang Liem.
Oh, they switched the pairings around again. They keep doing this trick to me to show us the wrong pairings, but. Apparently, it's Magnus Quang. Still, what we said applies. It's the steepest test he's had all tournament. Former Blitz World Champion.
Yeah.
It's been a while, like 2006 or something. Quang,
I think 2012, yes.
Whenever I check, he's 2730, playing well.
Yeah, and he was also the coach of this team in the US. And now we have the Queen's Gambit declined, exchange variation, Queen C2.
Stopping Bishop F5. And Knight H5, that's the price you pay for Queen C2. You lost control over this square. And in these QGDs, people are into so many small subtleties. Quang, very strong theoretician. He knows what he's doing here.
Right. And Magnus, how does he deal with this? Oh, he just says, take my bishop.
Okay, that's not supposed to be critical. I think the main line is some bishop E5, Knight D7, bishop E2, but that gets very sharp, and maybe Magnus didn't feel ready for this. So he just goes for this structure.
Even this structure is quite interesting, yeah? Like you have control over E5 and Liem goes Knight H5 again, forcing G3. Looks like white has a nice knight in the center, black has the bishop pair.
Yeah. I was always very scared of the structure with white, because if, I don't know, black gets castles in F6 and nothing direct happens here, no bishop G6, knight G6, you can end up so much worse with white very easily with all these weaknesses. So it's double-edged, because as a kid I was shown some whatever Rubinstein games, and he does this and then he crushes easily with white, but whenever I try it, that doesn't look like that. So I learned to avoid it. And Magnus doesn't seem to like it. He goes F5, trying to simplify or complicate.
He's just going at that G6 square now, because if we look at the knight, the bishop and the queen all eyeing on that square, there could be a potential sacrifice coming up there.
But is it breaking through? The knight is still a defender. Bishop D6 played by Quang. If we try, let's say takes, something takes. I guess black just takes, puts the knight here. Black is in time. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that sacrifice doesn't work, and Quang Liem being very calm about it. He also has 50 extra seconds on the clock.
Yeah. Carlsen decided to castle queenside.
Wow.
Yeah. Queen F6 stabilizing here. Looks like a good move. Computer also mentions taking on F5, but no one would ever do that. No, Quang doing well.
And black played a move, yes?
Yeah, Queen F6 was already played.
Queen F6 on the board. Wow, black is doing quite well, and Magnus has to tread carefully here. He goes Queen D2, and the bar drops. I mean, I'm not looking at the moves, and also nor are you. What's happening here?
I guess firstly, bishop F5. There's no Queen F5 because of G4. Maybe now bishop F5, and just GF5. It looks a bit ugly, but it's an extra.
GF5, wow.
And, no, GF5 is a mistake. There's knight D7. But apparently this works. We might have to figure out how. Because I thought G4 was winning a piece. Oh, look at this.
Oh my God. Okay, let me.
Oh.
Bishop e5. Wow, that's such a beautiful move. And I guess it's a tactic which you need to see if you want to beat Magnus.
I don't know, yeah.
But you saw Magnus shook his head there. Did Liem play it?
Let's see. Queen d2. Bishop f5 played. Bishop f5. And bishop e5. He switches around, but it's also good.
Oh, this is also a
Like,
good
he didn't
move.
see that trick, but bishop e5 also clears up the situation. Then de queen f5. Magnus in trouble here.
Wow, and Magnus there just realizing that he's lost a pawn, and he goes. He's thinking now, yeah? He hasn't made his move.
Bishop g4.
G4.
And bishop to d6 back. Can still take here, but it looks still pawn down, and there's no obvious attack.
But you must take it, right? Otherwise, you're just simply a pawn down. If the knight moves away from h5, like knight g7.
I don't know. I think you're simply a pawn down in
both
either
cases.
case. So I don't know if you want to hope for opposite colored bishops, but normally with so many pieces on the board, it's also not a guarantor for a draw or anything. So I think he's just in trouble.
Yeah. I also love this pawn structure from b7, c6, d5. The knight on c3 is just not able to get into the game.
No. And even the white pawns block some potential squares. So Magnus did take. Rook e8, rook e6. Like Quang just making good moves calmly. So far he's outplaying.
Jan, what does your commentator's intuition say here? Do you think Magnus will make a comeback like he usually does, or this is too tough for him?
Generally, I've seen him lose many games in these formats, but almost never like elimination games. He can be a bit sloppy in the first one, but somehow normally he finds a way to then win the second one and win the Armageddon. So sometimes it feels like if he's not facing elimination, he's not 100% there. He will still play, but stuff can happen. But as for the position, I don't know. Black still has to win it, right? You have to break through somewhere and something could happen. But I would think like Quang is a favorite to win this. Looks so good. Magnus is fighting though. Knight d1, knight e3. If he can get control of the f5 square, he has something to work with.
I guess one plan that Black could go for is to reroute the bishop to b6 and put pressure on that d4 pawn. But now knight e3, and the knight is looking at this very juicy f5 square.
Yeah, it's important there's no bishop takes g3 because of the pin.
Ah, nice one.
So he goes king f8, prepares bishop takes g3. He wants white to commit to some passive move like rook to g1.
And also the f2 pawn is constantly under pressure. He goes rook c3 now. No tactics yet.
Keeping an eye on the knight.
And
Magnus is fighting, but he's still much worse because it's hard to improve even from here. Queen to e4. Queen d1 targets h5. Is he losing the threat a bit?
Ah, that's a nice move. You called it. It's on the board. Queen d1. And I think Quang Liem wanted to push his f-pawn perhaps at some point, but now rook f6 and Magnus coming back. Can you take the pawn on h5? Rook f2.
No,
h6 is hanging.
H6, but still, black is very active. I was wondering if white can just play f4, or is that asking too much from the position?
Wow. f4. So taking on h5 is one move, f4 is another. Magnus has some possibilities now.
Yeah. Even move like rook b3. Okay, black has b5, worst case scenario. Taking a moment, he played something.
f4. Wow, he pushes his pawn there. This could become dangerous for black as well, yeah, if not careful.
Yeah, black doesn't have complete safety. He still should be fine, but somehow it got a little out of hand. Because queen g6 would cover the pawn, but misplace the queen somewhat. And I'm not sure. Maybe rook g6 keeping white a bit busy. Yeah, rook g6 played. I think that's a good move. Opening the position like this, if there's no direct I was going to say if there's no direct follow-up, but then I saw here we actually win some material.
Oh, and the g3 rook falls.
So what is going on?
So rook g6, and now Magnus can actually snatch the pawn on h5. But maybe Liem has some ideas to it. I don't know, maybe, is there something like c5 coming up somewhere to, or maybe you can pick up the d4 pawn,
Maybe
right?
you just take on d4. Yeah.
Right.
Like allows knight f5, but then queen f6, and everything seems covered for now. Black is still a pawn up. I guess Magnus is still worse after all this.
He hasn't played a move yet. Magnus down to 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Liem has 3 minutes, 41 seconds here.
Yeah, with no increment, that's not as much time
Right.
as we're used to, but still online people are so used to playing 3-0, even 1-0 games. That's enough time to play some good moves with both these guys.
Right. And Liem here waiting for Magnus to play. What? Oh, he did make his moves. There are a few more moves.
Does not update. Queen takes h5, queen takes d4 plate indeed. Knight to f5, queen to f6 back,
And
rook to e3.
oh, that's not a great move. And d4 pushing forward. The pawn is like, isn't c5 coming next? And wow.
There's apparently not enough threats, but okay, Magnus keeps trying to make something happen. Goes g4.
Is the threat now g5?
Hang on, did he blunder? d3, the bar escalated there.
Yeah, he went back with his knight, but maybe there was something stronger instead of knight e3.
No, that is the best move.
Okay.
And somehow Magnus worked his magic. Now knight d5, and the pieces
Wow.
are coordinated.
And the d pawn looks so strong right now. I mean, it's you could even play d2, but somehow it seems all under control.
Yeah. I can't figure out yet d2 plate, but yeah, g5 apparently. Black is just struggling finding squares
g5.
without an obvious blunder like Quang has been.
Is the queen almost trapped after g5 or queen d8, right? You can take.
Go queen d8 directly, but then f5, what do you do? And if hg, the queen is really short on squares.
That's insane play here by Magnus. He just somehow managed to find the coordination with his rook moving up, knight coming back, queen on h5, those 3 pawns. Beautiful.
No, he does have this innate talent for piece harmony. Just as we praised him, he goes f5, not g5, which is also good, but apparently less good. However, it looks like strictly the only black move is a very sad move to make.
Rook
Just
g7?
d1 queen, forced his knight away, and then moved the rook.
Oh, but he goes rook back directly, and now is it knight d? No, wait a second. It's not so clear.
Calculate. Knight d5, d1 queen, knight takes f6. Black has no checks, yeah?
And no
everything's
checks.
hanging.
And rook e8.
Queen h6, knight d7.
Beautiful. So knight d5 allows black to queen, and you pick up. But knight d5, can we move the queen somewhere? It doesn't seem that there's any queen h8.
And then g5. It's beautiful. Stopping this and keeping it going. hg, I guess f6 or something. Okay, now this is simple, but you can see the engine bar. It's now all white.
I didn't get this variation which you said, which was like, a queen at knight d5, queen h8, g5?
g5.
No way, and hg?
Covers this, hg. And now just queen e2.
Oh my goodness. Okay, this is...
Keeps rolling, but okay, for computers, this stuff is a bit easier. Let's see.
Okay, that was beautiful. Oh, he did.
Has played knight d5. Now he means business now.
Amazing.
Right after I said, sometimes he loses the game, he said.
Oh, he finds g5 as well. No.
He's on top of all this. hg, queen e2,
Wow.
all on the board.
Wow.
No, he's good. He's good.
He's good.
Was a bit sloppy early on, lost a pawn for not much, but then it's amazing how, because Quang is an absolute world-class player, like how big the class difference or can be once Magnus starts trying even a pawn down, like he just completely outplayed him. It's
Beautiful.
impressive.
And now f6 is a massive threat, right? To just checkmate him on e8.
Yeah, this is, I guess, so even the brutal rook e8, king g7, f6 should be a big threat. And yeah, king has to run, but now f6 or just queen takes d2. No, this completely turned this around.
Do you think Magnus is stronger at this format than like the over-the-board format? Like his strength gets even better in this esports format?
Not sure. I guess at this point he's also very used to it. We've had so many of these, whatever they were called, Carlsen chess tours, Champions chess tours, like playing online with 10, 15 minutes. I guess people are just more accustomed to than playing over the board. We don't have that many, no? But I don't know. I feel facing him over the board maybe gives Magnus an advantage, because for the opponent can be intimidating to see Magnus here. They don't have to see him, but his moves are still good. Not sure. How do you feel about, he didn't do well in Norway chess? You think there was a one-off, or he hasn't been active in classical, his preparation is not there? What was going on?
Yeah, I would actually love to see what happens now when he plays at the World Rapid and Blitz Team Championship, because that's his next over-the-board event. Because Norway, at some point he wasn't doing well, but as always, everyone thought he'll make a comeback towards the last 3 or 4 rounds, but he couldn't do it. So that's rare for Magnus, but one bad result is not rare. It happens time to time. But if it's like 2 or 3 in a row, then it's something's wrong.
No, I agree. It's a bit too early to diagnose something's changed. But also, as I say, Kaisa is a jealous mistress, and he hasn't played much classical chess. I'm guessing he hasn't worked much on openings, and in Rapid he can still get away with being smart and choosing and making a comeback here, but in classical it's a bit different. And these guys, I don't know, but I'm assuming they put in a lot of work, the likes of Prague, Vincent, Gukesh, Ali Reza, and if you don't, you can be as brilliant as Magnus, and it still might not be easy. True. Still, I agree, we shouldn't overreact to one result.
But also to see Magnus play classical chess again, I think it's not going to happen anytime soon, right? He's not going to play, maybe he'll play the Olympiad.
I would hope he plays the Olympiad also. I don't know, like, I don't know how he feels about it, if he just thinks, okay, this was an obligation, or if he feels, okay, this didn't go well, but I'd like to show these kids can still dominate them for 2-3 years. If he feels challenged now, I don't know. He's completely winning here, that's why we switched topics a bit. By what a comeback by
he won.
Carlsen, and the game is over.
So 1-0 victory for Magnus in the first game, and then there you see no real emotions on his face. The job is still half done.
Small smile.
He's pleased. Oh, by the way, the game starts instantly. Yeah, but what happened in the other semi-finals?
Briefly check in with the other guys. They're still playing. Jose Martinez is lost against Andrei Yesipenko. Andrei has 30 seconds. Martinez is faster. But 30 seconds, Andrei is experienced enough that he should win this.
Right.
I think even I would manage with 30 seconds, and that's normally the test for. There's no chance here.
Okay, Andrei scores the win, and so now must-win game for his opponent. Back to Magnus, and we have this almost the same opening, but with reversed colors.
Knight to e8. Oh, here I can reveal a little secret. This knight e8 line we were studying before one of the World Championship matches. I can't even recall which one, I guess, against Fabi maybe in 2021. And then, while we were studying this line, a lot of analysis appeared on, what do you call this ChessBase live book, this tree you can see. And there was some serious inquiry if this was a coincidence or if one of the seconds maybe had forgot to switch off the live book. I'm not sure it's ever been resolved. I'm leaning towards coincidence, but we don't know. But anyway, this 98, there was some panic if this is still playable after that. But yeah, Magnus reshuffling.
Magnus would have so many old ideas with him, right? Like, because he's played 5 World Championship matches, but then to recollect all of them is not easy, right? You have to go and
forget lots of stuff if you.
So then maybe he just opens something and says, okay, this is interesting, and maybe tries it out
himself. I think Peter Heine spends, if he's not on Twitter or golfing, he spends his time choosing one of the files from 2021 and saying, then you change the date and send it to Magnus. Here's a fresh idea. So 98, 96. And it seems to work nicely. Anyway, this line, yeah, it's not the main line, but it's a setup that it's smarter than it looks, and it might get a theoretician like Le Quang slightly out of book. And it's not so easy because black always has some play here, so white can't get too cute. I think I've faced this recently in Bundesliga. Played terribly as usual, but white is supposed to just treat it quietly, go castle, put some
Not
rocks
long
to the
castle.
middle, not long castle or anything fancy, because black will immediately get enough counterplay.
But I think there's some moves, yes? Castles, bishop f8, rook ae1, and Magnus going for your idea of a5, knight a6.
Yeah, this is typical stuff, but also I like the move king h1. Somehow, often in these structures, if you can't get in f3, e4, your knight on e2 can end up a little silly. And one idea that's often played is king h1, really keeping the option to go knight g1,
Ooh.
knight f3, which looks dumb, but depending on what black does, this can be very useful. Reshuffling. So Magnus does all this stuff, b5, bishop f4 feels a bit slow.
Maybe he's making square for the knight on g3, perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, maybe he wanted f3, e4, but always the e3 pawn was weak, so he just defended it. Not sure. By the way, this move b5, I mean, I used to play d4 all the time, and I used to feel like, oh, it weakens the c6 square and so on. But nowadays, it seems like b5 is the way to go, right?
Yeah, no, this has completely changed, because I'm with you. Like, I've played these structures all my life, and if an opponent touched the b pawn, played b5, I would think, okay, this is going to be easy, with c6 is so weak. But once again, computers have completely changed how much we think about this, and very often, this b5, b4 is a big source of counterplay for black, and yeah, it's really completely changed, because b5 was not even a candidate move in any of these positions, I don't know, 20 years ago, and now you see it. Every other game, you also look at the computer, b5, 0-0, bishop e6 plus 0-40, so often it's just straight up the best move.
Wow. So b5 played by Magnus. He knows his stuff. Bishop d7, f3,
okay,
and now
going for this.
can we go g5 and pick up the pawn? Oh, there might be some...
I don't know about bishop. First of all, bishop e5, we're threatening checkmate. Bishop e7.
Oh, wow.
I was also wondering if bishop d6 and e4. So why is f3 so bad? Just b4, knight c4. Black has many options. It's logical, just the computer doesn't like it.
Yeah, I think knight c4 seems like attacking the e3 pawn, but he did make a move.
Push it.
e4 is coming up, yeah.
I played b4. Oh, sorry, this was not played. b4 was played, takes clam. Oh, he's playing well. Knight a4, takes.
Knight
Also,
b5.
Thanks to b5, all of a sudden he has these targets for counterplay.
Oh my god, yeah. Just giving up the a3 pawn, yeah, not caring for it. And I think this is the best way for Liem to play here. He has the center, his pieces are well positioned. Maybe e5 could come up to open up the bishop.
Yeah, or just take on c4, no, take the pawn back, or what has he done? Somehow keep having to refresh here. No, maybe he's legit thinking.
So bishop c4, dc4, queen c4, and that really makes the c6 pawn a bit weak. But
yeah, but black has the two bishops, I guess.
and he
wasn't
did
happy
take
with
it. Yeah.
When knight g3 playing for an attack. Also, he's in a must-win. Maybe he thought after bishop c4 takes. He thought you can't beat Magnus from such a position. Knight b4. But now he's a pawn down. No, Carlsen looking very confident.
b4.
Jumps, bishop goes back.
Okay, keeping the chances alive of trying for something on the king side. Without the light squared bishop, it would be very difficult.
No, I think I like what he did, at least practically. Now there's a chance he checkmates Magnus, while in the other more technical position, yeah, I think I agree. You can't win. And he's in a must-win. So like Quang Liem, fighting hard. He's been the Vietnamese top player for, I don't know, at least 20 years now,
Yeah.
probably more. 'Cause I recall when he was 16, he was already incredibly strong, and now I think he's in his 40s, so maybe we're approaching 25 years. And yeah, recently I think, I don't know the whole story, if he lost his job or they closed the chess program at this university he was coaching in the US.
Yes, the Webster,
Maybe
right?
some more time for playing, or I'm not sure what he's up to. But he's been consistently just a super strong player with studying and then having a job, and always kept a 2,730 rating. So he's very impressive.
Yeah, somehow he just plays at a very high level, even when maybe he's not working on chess, or maybe he's just working on
but
chess
he's
all the
working, you
time.
can tell here. He's always booked up to date, maybe. It's part of the job, maybe, as students, whom he helps preparing as well. But no, I'm very impressed with.
By the way, E5 has been played,
C5.
and Magnus
Action.
goes C5. Can we take the pawn on C5? Yeah, he takes knight C5,
He
bishop
just
takes.
wants counterplay. He wants to run with the A pawn.
Oh,
Build-up continues. Yeah, at least practically. Oh, it looks like computer also likes it. That's a nice decision. No, he doesn't wait.
yeah.
This A3, A2 is serious. What do we do about it even?
Yeah, this is such a great idea by Magnus to start pushing his A-pawn. The queen would love to make a battery with the bishop, but there's no C2 square available. There's no kind of active plans that I can see. Maybe there's bishop F5, perhaps, to trade the bishops and get your knight to F5.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. As usual, computer says boo, but I agree, because what else can you do? Wait around. Which is a very sad move.
Maybe to bishop F5 there was knight A2, right? And then you kind of start being in this difficulty as the F4 bishop is in
The
trouble.
problem is here, knight F5, queen F4, and
Right.
queen F5. We lost coordination a bit, or still G6. We don't want an endgame with the
Yeah.
A pawn. Sorry, I'm making too many moves. But yeah, no good spot. Knight A2 is an issue. So this practically looks like game over. No, like Quang is down 1-0, and he's under pressure to find a way to hang in here.
Right, and I think Magnus made a move. I think a couple of more moves. Here
Show up.
did go
He
bishop
played knight F5.
takes.
G3, G3, queen back, question mark for whatever reason. It's normal.
Now the A pawn is super strong. You're also going to lose the C5 pawn unless white can do something crazy here, like bishop takes h6,
Nice,
and he
bishop h6.
takes it. Okay. I mean,
Oh, Magnus looks a little shaken by that.
yeah. Maybe you just ignore it, right? Because if you take queen h6, that looks fatal.
Very scary. Just A2.
Yeah,
A2
A2.
played. So how does white hang in there? Queen C3 covers stuff, more or less for now.
Queen c3. That's a nice move. So Magnus just... Oh, and he goes queen f4. He's like, okay, it's going to be mate or nothing.
Yeah, apparently good. No, just as I thought, this was over for him. He's making a fight. Magnus shaking his head.
Wow.
Very unhappy he let this get out of hand.
But he actually has played quite well. So he hasn't made too many errors. His position is still better. But I think humanly, you start worrying about moves like queen g4 coming in, e6. I don't know, he's just not so happy.
No, also the trend has shifted, because I think he had everything under control, and this queen e7 apparently was a more serious mistake. Peter was right as usual, but queen h5, just keeping an eye on this guy, apparently kept things under control. Well, now...
Oh, he takes knight e5. Takes the
Okay.
pawn.
He looked upset, but he still makes good moves. It's also often the problem with these guys like Magnus or
Hikaru.
and so on. They're shaking their head and feels like the game is over, but then they still begrudgingly make the best move. And good luck beating them.
Okay, knight e5. You can't increase the pressure on e5 somehow. Maybe some bishop takes g7. Does that work in any way?
King takes, and we don't have a check, no? So I'm not sure. What's next? I thought you could take on b4, but I guess then black just takes on h6.
Oh, he goes bishop g5.
5, logical as well.
Queen b7 maybe to defend the knight.
Why can't I play
Oh, but e5 is
f6?
hanging. Ah, f6.
No, apparently it's bad, but I don't understand why. Is there any tricks? Queen h4.
Maybe f6, queen b4,
Yeah.
fg, f4 is too much.
6. No, you're right again. Queen b4, fg, and just queen d4, and the game continues. It's not a blunder, but also not that great.
But then, I mean, you have to keep an eye on both of your knights, right? The e5 knight is under pressure, the b4 knight, so you can't play queen b7, because then rook takes e5, although you can, because the a pawn could queen. Oh.
Yeah. I think what he's going to do is calculating now. But normally Magnus likes clarity. And he's calculating, I think, if he can get away with knight b to d3 and force some sort of endgame.
Knight b d3, wow. So if bishop takes d3, you go...
Knight takes d3.
And bishop e7.
4.
And and then eventually you'll take on e7 as well and make a
I
queen.
only need a draw, right?
Nice.
I can go rook e7 and a1, worst case scenario. So we're talking about, this is far from forced. Yeah, if the knight goes here, takes, and now let's say takes, queen, and this would end peacefully, I'm assuming. Takes, and rook c1. This looks like a draw. Anyway, way too long, but yeah, no, he did play f6.
f6, queen b4, and queen d4 on the board.
He's back.
a1 is now stopped. The e5 knight is under pressure. The black king looks a bit weak. d5 pawn can fall with a check.
Yeah. Still, as long as the a2 pawn is there, there will be chances for Magnus as well. Queen to f7 he plays.
Oh, and what about rook e5 now?
He's trying to bail out again now. So rook e5, queen e5, a1, takes, queen f5, and probably draw in the end.
But that position is your pawn down and it's playable. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Takes,
it's happening.
Oh, no, he goes
he
rook e8. That's his point, not a1. Of course. He's trying to win the bishop cleaner. Still, queen b2, let's say. Queen f5, queen a2. Isn't white better?
Yeah, the f3 pawn is a bit weak. Maybe you can get g4 in. It's happening. Queen b2.
Get there quickly. Queen a2.
And now maybe g4.
Or to create some counterplay here.
So white is a pawn up. It's a great fight by Quang Liem. He's not giving up there. He's putting pressure on Magnus.
And also coming back from a very shaky position, he managed to mix it. Took this one chance with bishop takes h6. Is it enough to win the game against Magnus, though? Goes rook to c8, targets this pawn.
Yeah, somehow this f3 pawn is just so weak. And he goes and defends c5 and f3 with the queen. But Magnus, like, now my d pawn starts to roll.
Yeah, and this looks unpleasant, no? Because now, first of all, c5 is under attack again. And if you don't cover it, it's equal pawns, should be a draw.
Right.
If rook c1, now there's d3, which breaks white's coordination, attacks f3 and hints at d2.
Did this happen?
Yeah, this is on the board. And I think Magnus is completely fine again.
If king g2 now? G4.
He played g4. Computer said rook e8 was even winning, so he won't like g4. Humanly, this looks very good, especially if you only need a draw, there will always be a perpetual somewhere around this king.
So as per the match situation now, Magnus has the perfect position with g4 coming in here. He just needs a draw and he would make it to the finals of this ASEAN Esports Chess Cup.
Is the name. What does ASEAN with an E stand for? I didn't dare.
Southeast Asian, yeah? So
it's just Southeast Asia.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's like A should be all Southeast Asian nations.
So the first A doesn't stand for the A in Asian, but
No.
it's all Southeast Asian nations. I got it. Thank you. I've read it many a time, but I was never sure what it stands for.
So Queen B3 check. He goes Queen B7, but I think Liem has now gone a little too hard on that position. There could be Queen F3 check that could win.
Him, losing or drawing is the same
Rook E8.
outcome, so probably he's just trying to avoid any draws. And yeah, Magnus will punish him now. Rook E8, Rook E2 is coming. So which Southeast Asian nation is Norway?
Yeah, this was like very interesting for me that Magnus and Fabi both turned up here and, you know, playing. Maybe it's just them coming here gives a lot of opportunities for everyone else to play. Yeah, that's the point, perhaps.
No, also, of course. I think, yeah. The local fans are very happy and it raises the profile of the tournament. And also for them it's convenient because they're going to Hong Kong anyway and you want to ideally spend some time in the time zone before the event. So not sure they're at their freshest today, although Magnus seems to be getting fresher. But you need some time in Asia before the event anyway. And Bangkok is a great city. What's not to like stopping by here? Yeah, Magnus is wrapping this up.
Yeah, with the pawn takes, and now there are no checks on the board. So Queen G2 coming in, and Liem has resigned here. Yeah. So Magnus wins 2-0 and makes it to the finals. Who is waiting for him in the finals? Is it Andrei Esipenko who's there, or is it
Andrei?
Jose Martinez?
2-0 sweep against Jose Martinez. Esipenko makes it to the finals. Oh yeah, he had a rough time during the candidates, but he's always liked this format. I recall he also did very well in Riyadh at the esports World Cup, eliminating Nepomniachtchi and I think won some other matches. And of course, he's just a very well-rounded top player. So let's see what he can do against Magnus.
Also, Andre is here just for this event. He's not going to Hong Kong. So it's very cool that he just came in for one day here. I met him at the breakfast today morning and he was like, do you know what the format is? You know, so he was here like, I'm just here to play. And he's made it to the finals, which is really cool.
Yeah. The format did change between breakfast and now, so you can't blame it too much. But I like the way they're doing it now with 2 games. It feels better in quarterfinals, semifinals. If not, people will complain, okay, I got black in the semifinals and so on. So this is nice. We have our dream finals, Carlsen versus Esipenko. Saga, will you stick around for the finals?
Yeah, I mean, I'll stay back and join you if it is fine.
Please.
Yeah, and it was amazing to see Magnus solving so many interesting problems that were posed to him by Liem. And that just, seeing him live in action makes you understand how good he is.
Yeah, also how he can rise to the challenge when he looks sleepy and he hangs a pawn, but then, it keeps being impressive even after all these years of dominance. But we hope Esipenko can put up a fight in the finals. We'll be back in a couple minutes with that big match.
We're live? We are live with Magnus Carlsen, who just qualified to the final. Magnus, congrats. The scoreline is 2-0, but game one especially was a tricky one, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think I misunderstood the opening a little bit, played it a little bit kind of too ambitiously, and I was soundly punished. I mean, eventually I was just a pawn down for very, very little, and I felt like there was little I could do. So, yeah, I just shuffled some pieces around, and yeah, eventually managed to get back in the game. I felt as soon as I got my knight around, then I would have reasonable practical chances. And as it turned out, like he kind of, after that, he missed one big moment where he could have made inroads, but it wasn't like super obvious. And after he missed it, I was fully back in the game, and I took my chances.
Let's talk about the road that led there, the qualifying stage this morning, the quarterfinals. How do you evaluate your play today so far, and how do you enjoy playing here in Bangkok in this esports format?
No, it's all right. A little bit tired, not feeling my most energetic, but it's yeah, it's a nice little event, and yeah, the qualifiers, there wasn't too much to say. The first match, I think, went relatively smoothly as well, but of course I'm facing better players, and Liem is a top player and wasn't easy to beat.
One player is left to beat to win this event. That's Andrei Yasipenko. How do you look forward to the final?
Oh, I didn't know that he qualified, but yeah, he's very good, and I've played difficult matches against him before.
We look forward to seeing this one. Magnus, congrats again. Good luck.
Thank you.
And we're going to go back to the studio. Welcome back. I'm delighted to be joined by Kai Tuorila, the chief organizer of the BCC, the Bangkok Chess Club Open. Thank you so much for joining me. So far, Thailand was known mostly on the tournament scene for your tournament. How does it feel now to have an esports event here in Bangkok?
So first of all, very welcome to Thailand, finally.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, it's a great event. I think it's the first time we are getting really the top players to come to Thailand. So I think it's a great boost. We are very happy to have you and them.
Well, thank you so much. Tell us a little bit about your tournament and how it came to be that Bangkok Chess Club ended up organizing this big and famous open tournament.
Right, we organized the first one, or I organized in 2002, and the last one was the 23rd edition already. There was nobody else organizing any international tournaments in Thailand, so then I started to organize my own tournament.
Yes.
And it started to grow so that in the last one we had 370 players from 49 countries.
One of them, our commentators, Jan Gustafsson, of course.
Yes, he is one of our regulars. And even 2 GM noms were made, which is very rare in the open tournaments.
It is an incredible tournament. It happens in April, right? So if people want to come, keep an eye on the calendar. When will the dates for the next event be announced, do you know?
Well, I think we can announce in 2-3 weeks' time. So it's usually on the middle of April, and we are looking for the same period. So you are most welcome then, and everybody most welcome to the out.
I will do my best to come, and people watching this. The final will start. Kai, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully see you in Thailand next April.
We hope so. Thank you.
And see Jan there as well, back to the studio.
Definitely.
I will try. It's by far my favorite tournament, the Bangkok Chess Club Open in April every year. So whenever my schedule allows, I'll be there. It's called Bangkok Chess Club Open, but it travels throughout the country. It's in different locations in Thailand. So Sagar, if you have time to play, or if not play, at least come cover it. It's always nice hotels, good atmosphere.
I've
Very
been there
recommended.
in 2017, back 9 years ago. That was my only time in Thailand. And now I'm back after 9 years here. So yeah, it's a beautiful place. In fact, the hotel where this is happening is so wonderful. There's like a river next to where we are staying. So very pretty.
Yeah, it's an amazing location. And I'm getting too spoiled by all these world-class hotels that people are having chess tournaments in. To remind myself, it's not normal, you know, because you get used to staying.
And then you go home at some point.
Yeah, home is also nice. But once I go on vacations with the family and I check the prices, you know, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, this is an amazing place, and it's beautiful to see. Not just Magnus coming here, but also the passion for chess, because I know there's a lot of chess fans in Thailand, and everybody's showing up here. It's really nice to see, so I'm glad.
Yeah, and now we have Magnus versus Andrei Esipenko, the finals, and somehow the setup has been that Magnus has taken that table which is at the back of the rows, you know, the last row, and he's been sitting there since quarterfinals.
Well, this is special Norwegian TV treatment. They're saying I have to stay at the same board all the time because of the NRK cameras.
For a change, there's no NRK here, yeah? Like, would have been nice to have them.
But in fairness, he is the top seed, and they're playing matches, so it makes sense if he stays.
And by the way, Magnus is someone who didn't ask for another mouse. You know, many of the players brought their own mouse here to play.
Wow.
I think Magnus was like, doesn't matter.
10 minutes, who cares?
And I think the game must have started, yes?
Yeah, sometimes it can take a while till it shows up here. And yeah, here we are. Carlsen with the white pieces against Andrei Esipenko. Another Queen's Gambit. Andrei is using his candidates tournament preparation where he was defending these positions. I think he held them more or less okay. Wasn't his candidates, but here I think he made a couple draws.
Wasn't it the first round game with Javokir where he was better with black in this opening?
Ah, yeah, but he lost that one,
Yeah.
actually. He was much better in this exact line. But then went on to lose the game, maybe. Yeah, bringing the whole candidates on the course it went to with. Javokir destroying everyone. Yespenko won that one. Who knows what chess history looks like now?
By the way, what is up with 1d4 becoming more and more popular these days? I'm seeing like so much more d4 than e4, even in Norway chess, even in candidates.
I mean, I think it's always somewhat cyclical, but as a d4 player, all my life, I feel like people are finally coming to their senses. I guess more specifically, used to be the Berlin, but nowadays also the Petrov looks so hard to do anything. And in the candidates for the first time, we didn't have a single Rui Lopez, I think, for the first candidates tournament ever. Like people are playing the Italian, but mainly they're playing one d4 or, yeah, a lot of Petrovs. So I don't know, I'm sure e4 will be back. But yeah, you see people, even the hardcore e4 guys, they play the Vienna or something now, like chess prep in more forcing lines like e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6. Both sides have a hanging pawn. It's hard to do something, no?
Right.
Computers.
That's an interesting take there. As here, Magnus has a question to answer. What to do about the b2 pawn? That's hanging. Maybe it's not,
Nothing.
actually.
Saying nothing. So let's see. Cast bishop g4. All of this looks like we've seen it before. Queen b6, and knight to g3.
Oh, he doesn't save it. So queen b2, there's rook b1.
Just rook b1, and even if you lose a2, rook b7. There's enough targets in the black position. Knight coming to f5, c5 a bit loose.
Right, with the two bishops there, bishop on d3 eyeing h7 and the bishop on f4, there could be potential for some attack that could happen. You know, knight f5 as you point out, knight h5 to trade the knight and get the queen in.
Yeah, this also makes black's pieces so loose with his knight losing support from the b7 pawn. So I guess Magnus would be happy to see that. Let's see how Andrei reacts, who's been playing these positions throughout the candidates. They look a bit sad to me, but Yespenko is a very good technical player and doesn't seem like he minds even holding slightly worse endgames because he can trust his technique there. So maybe it's a good stylistic fit. Still, I wouldn't want to play this with black against Magnus. Then again, not that I have a better suggestion.
By the way, g6 on the board, stopping the knight jumps to f5 and h5, but does weaken the dark squares a bit. Not sure if Magnus can take advantage of it.
Yeah, no, I think it's logical. Also crippling this bishop, and black still has a dark square bishop, so bishop g5 can go back. If he got here, and maybe bishop f8, bishop g7, at least he'd be very solid.
Did Magnus play rook b1?
Yeah, rook b1 looks a bit
Yeah.
aggressive. Maybe he wants to prepare b4, but I don't think black cares. If we go here, then back.
So Andrei Yespenko having a decent position here after the opening. For all the viewers who are just joining in, this is the finals of the Asean Cup here that's happening, Esports Cup. And each game is 10 minutes plus no increment.
I have a question. This is a serious question. I think this secret was revealed to me by Anish Giri, because he told me players from the Soviet school, or they have a bias towards rook a d8. And once you start paying attention to it, you can't unsee it, that it feels like in every black game they're playing rook a to d8. And to me, rook a d8 here looks like a strange move, like rook e8, bishop f8 looks so much more natural. So, have you noticed the rook a d8 Soviet school?
I mean, for me, this move was very natural. Like rook
okay.
a d8. I thought like,
Indian school also approves.
I don't know. Maybe I learned from a lot of Mark Doretsky books. So Perhaps it was part of the Soviet chess school. But what's wrong with the rook being there on d8? Like
Nothing. They're good at chess. No. I just, since Anish told me, I can't help but noticing every time it's played. No, nothing wrong with it. But yeah, to my mind, rook e8, bishop f8, bishop g7 looked so much more natural. I guess his point is now if b4 he wants to go bishop to d6. But somehow, no, to me, it's, I don't know. I guess I learned you put rooks on open, half-open files, so I wouldn't want to go to e8 and c8, but it's rook a8 I've seen so often from well-educated Soviet school players.
okay, so rook a d8, and now Magnus goes. Did he play b4? Yeah, he did play
Played,
b4.
b6, bishop here, b5, knight e5, all looks more or less logical. The knight is a little sad now.
Yeah, knight looks a bit misplaced, and the black knight could jump to c4 next, which is a nice square for itself.
I still want rook e8, but yes, I don't care too much.
So Magnus here has 1.5 minutes less than his opponent, Andrei Esipenko. Can he give Magnus his first defeat in Thailand? We were actually oh, he pushes d4. And now takes. I had a question for you, Jan. Is this Magnus's first ever visit to Thailand?
I am not sure. I've told him many times that he's missing out. And when we were working for Magnus during the World Championship matches, I was always strongly promoting the idea of sending the seconds to Thailand. Not only because it's nice and sunshine, but also it makes sense if you have some time difference to Europe. You can work during the day, while normally if you're on site or wherever as a second, you have to work at night, which is tougher. So he sent us to Thailand twice, but he never joined the party. And I'm not sure, I haven't heard if he's ever been here. Not that I'm aware of.
This is his first time, perhaps. Oh, 2021, I think that was when Magnus beat Nepo, and the seconds were in Thailand, right?
Yeah, there we were in Phuket. That was during the pandemic, so it was difficult to get anywhere, but Phuket sort of just reopened on some program, and 2018 we were in Hua Hin also. It was a fantastic place.
Oh, and bishop c5. It feels like Andrei Esipenko has equalized the game somehow with all his pieces finding good squares. Bishop c5, rook d4, knight e5, knight f6, queen b6. But
looks active.
It's like everything's on dark squares.
Yeah, and the two bishops are still there. Not doing that much now, but structure is more or less symmetrical. I always believe in the two bishops long term. They don't have to do anything, but as long as they're on the board, they can maybe ask some questions later. Still, Andrei looks like all his pieces are working. The knight on g3 is still not doing anything special. Maybe, I don't know, rook c1, you're hinting at bishop f6, rook c5. You can ask some questions still.
Right. And also, I was just wondering if a plan like king h1 and f4, f5 could become quite interesting. I mean, it looks a bit slow, perhaps.
Once again, I was told to never move the f-pawn. Strongly against it. Magnus does neither, goes rook to d1.
Oh, but now you can take it, right? And you can't take with the rook because f2 hangs.
And that is true. It's strange. Guess he doesn't mind taking with what? The bishop? But yeah, it looks slightly odd. Also just rook fd8. What's his big point? Rook takes, bishop takes.
Yeah, something has to be found for the bishop on e2 to be done. Like, you know, it's knight on e5 is somehow dominating it, not giving many squares to it. Takes on d1, queen takes back, and now maybe rook d8.
Yeah. I would argue, though, even though I agree the bishop on e2 has not much to do, the bishop also is dominating the knight.
Right.
It controls all the squares. So the good thing is even a passive bishop, it does its job like at this distance. But yeah, queen takes. Looks like black should be fine, but hard to improve his position. No, everything is right already. I mean, rook d8, queen goes to c2, and then what?
Yeah, and
There
then
goes rook e8.
rook e8, finally your move on the
Finally.
board.
A while. That also makes sense. No, Andre, I think he understands these positions well and seems to know what he's doing there also. Playing and preparing them, the entire candidates, of course, must have helped his feel. So far, he's holding his ground nicely here.
You know, Andre actually finished the candidates not so well in the end. Do you think that event will, in general, help him in his chess career? Like now, maybe in coming years, he would be much stronger than what he was?
I don't know. Like, in general, I'm not a believer in this. Losses make you stronger, blah, blah, blah. I think often successes make you stronger and losses can also mess with your head a bit. Having said that, I think Andre is very strong. What I didn't like in the candidates, and of course with hindsight it's easier, didn't look like he was playing his chess. He was trying very hard to be creative, pose fresh problems, get fresh positions, fresh ideas. But he ended up in all these chaotic Sicilians, which didn't feel, because he's such a good classical player, he has good technique, he knows where the pieces are. But I feel like calculating in random positions is not his strongest suit against world-class players. And maybe, I mean, this is just my opinion, but maybe he also learned that about himself, that he should get slightly different types of positions, because there he is absolutely world-class when it comes to technique, preparation, like understanding where the pieces belong.
Interesting.
But yeah, I don't know. Of course, I think people always benefit, even if the result is bad, from just the preparation, the work that's being put in. Psychologically, I think it can go either way. It can also go the other way, that you think, okay, I'm already, I don't know how old he is, 24, 25, and I can't hang with the best players, so why keep trying so hard? But I hope it's not the case, because I think he's very special talent. And he beat Magnus in, when was it?
Vaikanze.
2020 maybe, in Vaikanze, 2019, one of these years. And then, yeah, everybody was talking about him as the next big guy. Of course, many things happened, pandemic and other things, so it's understandable his career was impeded a bit, but I still think he's a very good player.
Right. And now, after Queen D2, it's Andre who's gone below the clock than Magnus. Maybe there's some ideas like A5 in the position to kick the queen away. And he goes bishop E5 and Magnus quickly pushes A5.
This now looks like black lost a teeny tiny bit of coordination, no? With the knight on D7, A5 is coming.
But what about
bishop
Queen
finally has a
D4?
square. So you just take and go
just
bishop F3 and just grind the end game. Like, not saying it's winning, but it looks pleasant.
So important here for Andre to decide what to do with his queen. Should he offer it for a trade on D4? Should he move it back somewhere?
Feeling you want to keep queens if possible. Here goes queen C5, but rook C1 keeps asking that question.
Well, if you're not careful, bishop takes G3 would give you a piece. Because the pawn on F2 is pinned, so that is a threat.
Well, yeah,
He goes rook C1 and queen A3. And that is a mistake, but it's not an obvious mistake. Like, you don't realize what's the right move, you know, at first sight. Do you go knight F1?
That doesn't look like punishment.
Bishop F3.
F3.
Ooh, it's a great move. He attacks the B7 pawn now.
Yeah, B6, I guess. You don't love on general grounds, because then the bishop gets this square. Maybe it can get fixed as well. But no, Magnus, he's putting a bit of pressure. That's the thing about the two bishops. Of course, I'm being kept in hindsight as usual, but as long as it's not super clarified, then the game continues. These two bishops, they can be a nuisance in all kinds of endgames.
Right.
From Andre's time usage that, okay, this is not easy.
He's getting worried here. He's unsure, and look at him. He's like,
Shouldn't
what
forget,
to play?
No increment.
Should I play b6? Should I not play? But how else? Oh, queen b3. That seems like a mistake made by him. Do you snatch the pawn on b7?
It was this typical, like, he was thinking about whatever the normal moves, b6 or knight c5, didn't like them, and then you look at the clock, 1 minute 40, and you blitz out some move, which he probably hadn't thought about much. And now bishop takes b7, queen takes pawn, and bishop c6.
Yes,
Isn't black
exactly.
a bit overloaded? Yeah, that's why he takes on g3. But I don't think that was the plan. No, this just looks terrible for black.
Because now the queen side pawn majority is going to queen with b6 as you pointed. b6, ab6, a6 even. A pawn sacrifice there, and the a pawn is so strong.
Also, every endgame is completely winning now, so you can think about queen f4 or these types of moves. And now Andre is upset with himself.
Yeah, this is one of those typical Magnus victories where nothing's happening, and then something happens, and it goes Magnus's way.
Yeah.
Bishop c6. Well, the knight on d7 is for now Opry.
All these
And
things
you-
are threats, I guess. I don't even see a move for black. Because also black is so positionally lost, even if he can avoid loss of material, which I don't see how. Like this is still there. Okay, maybe you can do some gymnastics, like rook here. How losing is that? Hoping for some trickery, but no, it's also losing. Ah, it's checkmate.
It's a nice one.
Really help?
It's a nice.
Ah, but he played rook e6. Or no, was that me? No, rook e6.
We played rook
on the board.
e6 with the idea of what you just suggested. Or maybe
Ah, no, he wants to recapture on this.
with the knight d7 and then g5 bishop is hanging. But you can still go rook
Still
c8 check.
looks pretty tempting. Takes.
Rook
Also
c8
bishop
knight.
f4 just picks up a piece, no? Yeah, this is just over.
Oh, because now d7 cannot be protected at all.
Ah, he went queen h4. Okay, it's not that simple yet.
So if queen d7, queen takes f4 is hanging.
I guess everything wins, but you have to pick one. Like b6, ab, a6 should also win. Magnus gives a check. Bishop h6 also picks up stuff, no? Queen h6, rook g8.
Ooh, bishop.
Yeah, that's
That's the
played.
smart way to do it. Bishop h6. If queen takes rook g8, double exclamation move. Does remind us of that h6 square that he played against Karyakin, rook h6
yeah,
move.
it was more spectacular, but he has good memories of that square. King f6 and rook c1, he's switching back. Also nice move, not allowing any counterplay. Now, with this king on f6, just get chased down. Rook f1, bishop g5. Andre also running out of time.
And now maybe you can even
Queen
take...
d6.
Oh, queen d6, wow.
Rook e6, rook f1, and it's basically checkmate.
Yeah, rook f1 and take on d7 is hanging. f7 would be weak.
Yeah, also it's mate. Like the king has no squares.
Oh, it's checkmate. Ah.
So Magnus wins the first game, making it look easy. Andrei Yespenko played a good game, got out of the opening with an alright position. But Carlsen wants to make a good impression on his first visit in Thailand.
Yeah, what a smooth win, by the way. It's sometimes, you see these wins by Magnus and then you are like, okay, that's so beautiful, I learned a lot. I can also try doing it, but it's so difficult.
Yeah.
It's
Great ones make it look easy, but it never is. No, because you can't. Okay, the finish was nice, but there he was already winning. But all these small things, because it looked like nothing special was happening, and then all of a sudden he's winning.
Ooh, and now for the second game, Magnus does not decide to play something really solid against e4. He goes for the Sicilian Khan, which is, a really, really very interesting opening for me because my wife, Amruta, she loves this opening so much. She built her entire chess career with it. And she always... always keep saying like, why is it not played often at the top level? And I guess Magnus is the only one who keeps trying it every now and then.
Sometimes I'm feeling, nothing as a Khan, I also used to play this, but sometimes I'm feeling Magnus also, he likes to push himself a little bit. Things have been too easy. No, he's cruising, he won the first game with white, now with black. Let's play a sharp-ish Sicilian, and if he loses, there's still the Armageddon. So sometimes I have a feeling.
So you think he's playing for the crowd here?
Not really, but maybe also to keep himself engaged other than playing, I don't know, some boring Spanish or whatever would be a consistent choice. But no, as for the Khan, I mean, it's not played because it's not equalizing, no? And like people, especially at the top level, they try to equalize. I think it can be a great fighting weapon, but I don't know how to equalize cleanly after bishop d3, c4, or knight c3, and there's even many tricky sidelines like this a3 that Yesipenko played. b5, c4, Andrei having some concept here.
Queen e2. And he has a better structure already. The a6 pawn can be slightly weak. Black has this extra central pawn on d7. What do you make of this structure, Jan?
Not sure. I think it's about dynamics, who gets to develop more cleanly if black is in time to wherever, get queen c7, bishop out, knight c6 castles without anything happening. I think the structure is very sound for black with the extra center, but if, I don't know, white is in time to put a rook on the c file and do some damage there. Like, I've never seen this a3, b5, c4 idea, but Andrei, even though, as I criticized earlier, sometimes he has too many ideas, and I'm not sure these non-standard positions always help him. I always pay great attention to what he does in the opening. He's also working with David Paravian, who's a very, very good theoretician, very creative guy as well.
Right.
So interesting.
Magnus goes queen c7. One question is, can we push e5 here? I mean, you attack the knight.
Question.
Does it force?
Knight g4 I have, for example.
Knight g4, so that if I take on g4, the c4 bishop hangs. So
Magnus still looks a bit sleepy, but
yeah,
doesn't affect his play.
Do you think, like on the esports thing, the players sometimes feel a little less of that energy that comes when you're playing on the board, having an opponent here? Everyone gets a bit relaxed, yeah, like you can see. I
think it's more you lose this feeling for I'm being watched. If there's an opponent sitting across from you, at least you know somebody's watching you. But here, if you're sitting in your chair, I also have it before you showed up. Like you forget there's a camera and you can just lean back and stare at the screen. And people are a little self-conscious also, maybe, at times. A little less self-conscious about, I don't want to look tired, sit upright or whatever you're told.
The way after queen c7, Andrei hasn't made his move yet. e5, maybe not. There could be possibility to just drop the bishop back on a2 to keep it safe.
I'd also be curious if I wait to get a rook to c1 ASAP. I don't know, bishop e3, I guess this guy hangs. So bishop here or bishop d2 even. But also maybe all of that is too complicated and you should just castle and see what black does.
Right, and Magnus has 7 minutes 34 seconds. Andrei down to 6 minutes 50 seconds.
He does go
e5.
But knight g4 blitzed out. Okay, knight g4 we got right.
Bishop
Bishop
f4.
f4. And it's still a mess.
Is there a direct way to continue here? Wondering if some move like f6 is possible. Looks terrible considering the fact that there are few pieces eyeing the e6 square.
Yeah, f6 maybe bishop takes e6 directly, no, to get rid of that loose piece on c4, and then we can take on g4. Knight c6 he played.
So if g4 you take, the d4 knight hangs. Otherwise, white has to decide. Maybe knight takes c6, but then you take with the queen.
Yeah, attacking c4 and the pawn still. But is this so great for black? Takes, takes. And f3 looks normal. The knight has to go here. Now maybe Magnus doesn't mind, maybe thinking he's active enough. Knight coming back. Oof.
So did this happen? Knight
f3 was played.
what? It's a
Double
double question mark
That's
is
a bit harsh.
Yeah.
But the computer is merciless. But apparently now g5 is very.
Aha. But g5, bishop g3, because if you take with any of the pieces on g5, the e5 pawn falls. So if g5, bishop g3, you have h5, right?
Yeah, or bishop g7, just bringing another attacker towards e5. Here. Yeah, h5 is also good. But bishop g7. Then the pawn just falls. Okay, looks like your wife is onto something. I didn't know you get such great positions here. Just 12 moves.
Let's hope that Magnus finds g5 here. Otherwise, I think white is doing quite well. h3 is coming up to kick the knight away. So it's the moment. Maybe there's... Do you think d6 makes sense here, or is this too weakening?
I don't know. I'm still scared about something happening on e6, d6, ed, bishop d6, and bishop takes e6 might still be there. If not, it makes sense, but I'm always worried. Oh no, d6. Computer, of course, laughs and says d6, knight d5.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's such a beautiful move. Ed, and you simply win the queen. So maybe not d6 here. Magnus.
Knight e7. g5, yeah, Magnus likes his structures and piece play. g5, I mean, of course, that's the only good move. He has a good chance to find it, but it's not very typical Magnus move. e7 is, but it's a bit slow.
Did he play this?
Yeah.
Oh, knight e7. On the board, he's trying to get to g6 where it attacks the bishop and the pawn, but already white's position slightly preferable here.
Yeah. No, knight e7 in computer opinion was a big swing. Said to g5 black is better. Now it says white is better, but I think Magnus is envisioned his knight coming here.
And now could we go like bishop d3 to
I
stop?
think we should stop knight f5.
Wow. So bishop d3 stops knight f5, puts the bishop on a better diagonal now. And Andre has a great opening, like just the kind of opening he would need in a must-win game.
Yeah, can't complain about the outcome after bishop d3. Although, yeah, Magnus looked like he was also looking for a fight. Bishop d3. He looks a bit sad when this happened.
Yeah, he plays bishop d3. By the way, Jan, you being part of Team Magnus for all these years and being such a good player, if there's one quality of Magnus, like which is not so easy to tell for others, like not like many people know he's very good at end games or something, but something that you felt was very special.
I mean, it's always the eternal question: what makes Carlsen special? Knight f5, not a special move, by the way. Now takes
But
e6.
now takes.
Isn't he just losing bishop f5 and e6?
Did he miss e6 or?
I don't know. I can't have missed it. I think he wants f4 and
f4.
game continues, but it still looks scary. He takes d7. The king gets dragged out. Anyway, I don't have a good answer. I think it's everything. Like he's more competitive. He's in better physical shape. His brain did a better job putting all his information together. When he read things, he's more psychologically ruthless, feeling what he can get away with and what he can't. It's not the one thing. It's not he's good at endgames and other people aren't, but it's the complete package which you don't have so often. Like maybe once a generation, if so.
Wow.
Yeah, but I haven't noticed like one thing. He's not like an opening nerd. He's an opening nerd in the sense that he follows everything and he knows everything and he's excellent at choosing. But he's not a scientist, like you could argue, the likes of Kramnik and Kasparov, where scientists are always looking for opening ideas. Magnus, I think he's more or less outsourced that. He has people for that, and then he's just very smart. Where to take the game, but every other aspects he is just scoring so highly.
Nice. Those were some great insights there, Jan. But by the way, the question is, knight g5 by Esipenko wasn't the best. There was something stronger
Let's
there.
figure it out, yeah. We keep chatting and ignoring the action. Rook takes d6 was winning on the spot.
Wow. Okay, if queen takes, there's rook d1. But what if king d6? Maybe that just looks wrong.
Rook d1, and the king can run, but not very far. Yeah, he just gets checkmated, 95.
Wow.
Easy to say with, but it's not surprising this is bad for black.
Well, this was a big chance then, but he did not play it. He didn't take on d6. He went knight g5, threatening the f7 pawn.
Which also looks nice.
And black did make a move. Rook e8.
Rook a8, more question marks. King g4, king c6. King ends up there anyway.
Oh my goodness.
25.
Wow. Andrei Esipenko has stopped the king from moving at all here. King on c6 is just completely exposed. The queen is attacked now, offering a queen trade.
Yeah. Queen f3. Keep those queens.
Give up the
Threatening
piece.
knight e7. No, we're threatening
Ah, yeah.
the discovered double attack.
And he finds it. Queen f3
King
on the
b7
board.
is check, but after king b1, that doesn't help so much. Because white is still threatening too many things. No, it looks like, yeah, Magnus, I mean, we said in the opening, was pushing his luck a little bit, and sometimes it feels like he doesn't mind that so much, because I've seen it so often during these matches. He has a lead, then he plays some risky opening, often he loses, but then when it's elimination game, he's almost always back. I don't think it's on purpose, but maybe subconsciously he feels.
This reminds me of his recent tiebreak in Sigaman against Arjun, where Magnus won the first game, then lost the second, and eventually won the tie, like the third, Armageddon.
Yeah, no, I've seen it so many times.
There you could see Magnus just lifting his hand and saying there, okay, I don't know what to do next. Maybe he could just resign here. Too soon.
Give a check. King b5 check. Knight takes. Knight e7 check picks up the queen or not? No, knight e7 check. King b5 attacks the white queen. No, king b5 is check. So I was saying no, we have this, but this actually wins for black, which is funny.
Because with a check, you also attack the queen on f3.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
amazing.
How does white actually win? Some quiet move.
Maybe
like
king b1
gets the job done.
I think it's slightly tricky here to find that, but for a player like Andrei, I think he'll do it.
Yeah, I think he already played a move. Yeah, king b1 played.
Nice.
Keeping all of his threats. Knight e5. Now, queen. Queen anywhere. Queen c3.
It's not over yet.
No, because there's also a check here. I was also just wondering, how do you actually win?
Knight e4. Attacking
Knight
the
e7
c5 bishop.
That's still, as long as there's no clean kill, things can happen. I mean, knight takes c5 and b4 regains the piece, but is that the best? I guess it regains the piece and also keeps this king in trouble. So what are your plans for here? You You have some interviews coming up, or you'll just enjoy yourself? You go to the dinner? What are you?
No, I think after this there's going to be a press conference, right, with Magnus, Fabi. So to do that, and then in the dinner, maybe also to meet a few people. And then, of course, we have like this entire coverage of today that we've collected to sit down and then work on it through the night. So
Spend the night editing, creating some videos out of it. Only had any of your work ethic. Rook takes e4. Magnus hanging in there.
And now Queen e8, he gives check.
Queen a4 is a killer.
it's a-
King d6, knight f6, and this is it.
Wow.
It was doomed anyway, but he missed Queen a4, the finishing touch. So we'll get
Amazing.
an Armageddon.
Well played by Andre there. And 1-1.
Amazing comeback. And, I mean, I was saying Magnus maybe was pushing his luck a bit, but you still have to beat him like that. It's
Yeah.
not like he's trying to lose, so this was
Fantastic
impressive
chess.
stuff.
Which means, and Magnus there, by the way, one of the nice things of the esports format is that you can instantly click on the analyze button as a player and just see
What happened?
what you did right or wrong. And you can see those expressions telling us the story. Magnus didn't like that he allowed the move e6.
No, I think that was the... I mean, knight e7, knight g6 was a bit slow, and here it looked like he may missed bishop d3, and he started panicking a bit, but this is really asking for trouble with your king on d7. Doesn't matter if you're Magnus Carlsen, if they make some good moves. We have the drawing of lots for the Armageddon.
Yeah.
I believe it's white gets 5 minutes, black gets 4 minutes, and white has to win. So black gets draw odds and therefore less time. Magnus picks the white pieces, is in a must win.
Right. So Magnus will have 4 minutes, yes?
No, Magnus gets white, he gets 5, but Andre gets 4 and draw odds. I'm assuming it will take a minute to set that up, but hopefully, as soon as it is, will show up here.
There you see Magnus.
Is he complaining?
No. He's just going there to get himself some food, or is it some water?
Bathroom break or water, one of those, yeah.
Andrei Sipenko, well, can he do the most difficult thing in the world of chess? Beat Magnus Carlsen when he knows what he needs, you know, in that game. It's very rare that people are able to beat him. I was there at the World Blitz Championships 2019 when Magnus was playing against Hikaru Nakamura there. It was also a tie break and Magnus had won. I mean, these are the moments which stick with you, these tie breaks. And I think for the organizers, this has been a wonderful outcome to see them.
It's as good as it gets. You want Magnus around, of course, because people want to see him, and it's good for the tournament. But you also want some fight, especially in the finals. This, I think, is perfect. And you mentioned it in these clutch situations. I think for many years he never lost a rapid tiebreak. Then when so many occurred, of course, he lost one or two. But I mean, in general, in an elimination game, he still has an incredible.
Yeah. I guess we saw it even recently at the World Rapid Championships 2025. And Andre, well, he's calming himself down.
Yeah. This is also maybe some Magnus, I don't know if mind games, but Andre is ready to go. He feels good. He just won the game. Magnus, okay. Let's get some water. Let's go to the bathroom. Let's let him sit there, think a bit, get into his head.
Yeah. It's like the famous thing where in tennis, when a player is not having things go his way, doesn't serve the ball quickly, just keeps dribbling.
Yeah.
Andre waiting, and Magnus, I think, has gone to the washroom.
He walked by, no, but it looked like he went somewhere else. Perks of being the number one. No? You can make your opponent wait a little bit.
And
get into his head. Then again, they played for an hour non-stop. I think it's
Yeah,
fair if you need
sure,
to go to the bathroom,
sure.
get some water.
But in this format, what do you think about the Armageddon? It's slightly different than over the board, right? Like here, it's pure Armageddon. Like this, having 4 minutes as black maybe is more advantageous than on over the board, right? So you can make pre-moves, you can make very good use of, you know, the draw odds in your favor.
I'm not sure. I think over the board, normally they give some increment. After
Yes.
60 moves, you get
Yeah.
a second or something, which I think makes a big difference. While here online, I think there's
There's
no
no increment.
increment, which means getting flagged is a real danger. I guess it depends a bit on the level, but at my level, for example, I don't draw a lot of blitz games. Like I draw lots of tournament games because I'm a coward, but blitz games, normally there's a decision. And I always thought, still haven't done the math, but 5-4 without increment, I would always pick white because thinking, okay, draw is unlikely, and with white, you have a better shot. But once again, statistics will go a long way. And we do have the game. Magnus using what he used with some success. Maybe this is a new hobby horse of his against Ying Zhao in the my brain is fried. Quarterfinals, semifinals. This King's Indian attack with the knight on c3.
And Andre actually took it and just made, like generally you put your knight on d2, right, as white?
Yeah, but he played something similar in a different line earlier. I think Vincent Keimer was experimenting with this as well. d4 as a move here. Keimer played this against Bluebaum in their very defining Grand Swiss clash, where Keimer was winning, but then Bluebaum survived and made the candidates. But Andre, I think he's prepared. He's saying, no nonsense, I just want to equalize. Andre is a very good theoretician, and since this was played in some high-profile games, he's probably just aware of this.
And then Magnus has to win this game. Draw is not sufficient, so maybe the opening choice, I don't know how good it is here.
Looks like this backfired, no? Andre knows this stuff, he didn't spend any time, and you get a very dry position against a good technician. I don't even know, objectively, Magnus played a3, which apparently is the best move, so he's still incredibly good, but style-wise, I'd be unhappy. Rook d1, rook d8.
H6 played here by Andre.
H6, also natural, stops knight g5, but less forcing. Yeah, he's so good. Knight e1, knight d3, also the only way apparently to keep
Knight
play.
going to the c5 square, right? And at some point, maybe he wants to jump on d5 with his knight. Maybe that's also part of the plan.
Maybe right now it's a threat. Also freeing the way for the f-pawn.
Knight d1. So
maybe h6 looks innocent, but maybe this was the moment to take and go rook d8 before white is ready to jump.
Do you think this knight e1 plan could be part of his preparation?
No,
right?
Freestyling here.
Okay,
I mean,
knight
I don't
e8.
know, but I'd be surprised because after knight c3, there's so many lines that are more direct and good for black. So I'd be very surprised if he was deep here. But now he built up a little something. He put the knight on d5 as he indicated. Now either knight d3 or a potential f4.
Knight to d3.
Working his magic.
And the time difference still 50 seconds in Magnus's favor. Rook d8 and f4 played. He's gaining space.
More pressure. But oh, ef. Whoa, I thought Andre would stand his ground, play f6. But ef. And if gf, he wants f5. Interesting.
And if you take with a piece, then black gets the e5 square.
Yeah. Interesting idea by Andre, fighting back. I'm sure Magnus wanted gf on autopilot, but maybe f5.
What about bishop takes f4?
Yeah, but
Attacking the c7 pawn? Does that?
is it really hanging? Maybe it is. I thought just g5, but maybe you can go bishop takes c7. There goes GF.
with the pawn.
Now F5. And this could get messy. Yeah, F5 played.
And you can't.
Timing is good.
It's well timed, yeah. And look at the time on the clock now. 2:20 for Andre, 2:30 for Magnus. So the time is coming to equality. Position is around equal. Magnus jumps in with his knight to E5.
Yeah. Apparently after F takes E4, there's nothing there. And
Oh, but
I don't know.
F takes E4, knight C6, bishop
BC,
D5, right?
There's knight F6, yeah?
Yeah.
But, okay, Andre takes and goes rook D7. This allows E takes F, no?
E takes F5, bishop takes F5.
Okay, something.
And Magnus has like active pieces. His black pieces are quite passive on E8 and F8.
Yeah. This...
Magnus, I think, feels that this is the moment. So he's taking his time. He plays, takes.
Rook F1, excellently played. And if bishop takes C2, he has E6.
And what about bishop E6 going back?
I guess just knight F4, making sure bishop doesn't get too comfortable.
What a move, rook F1. Yeah, like I was thinking all the while that something will happen on the D file. He shifts his attention there. Bishop C4, maybe just rook F2.
Yeah, Andre is fighting, but there's no
E6.
coordination. E6, but E6 wasn't loved by Compi. Yeah, Compi said rook F2 and white is much better. Okay, but he played E6, and rook D6, I guess. Rook to E1, G5. No, this is still a battle. Now, might be losing the E-pawn.
Ooh, knight
Knight
G6.
G6, but can we take on E6?
But then there's
no, rook
bishop
E6,
C5,
there's
right?
B3.
Rook E6.
Yeah, so rook E6, but then there's... I don't know, knight F8. I'm too slow. Knight F8, B3, bishop C5. Looks like something's gonna drop.
But I guess if you don't take the pawn, there's a threat, right? E7. Look at Andre there. He's just like, what should I play? He's running out of time.
Again, we've seen that phase before when he panicked in the last game. Okay, he goes bishop G7. Good move.
The best move, yeah?
Best was B6 according to the computer. Just
Wow.
covering C5.
Wow.
Bishop G7 is also decent. And what's the clock? It's 1:30 with 1 minute. Carlsen, yeah,
Checks.
not.
And now, is there some knight F5 business? There's rook takes
Apparently
E6.
knight F5 is best, but it's not winning. Rook E6, knight G7, you take G7 and B7, and maybe white's slightly better, but
Andre fighting hard here. Magnus takes.
so precise. He just plays all the best moves.
Wow.
It's really,
And now you can't even... Can you go knight F5? But then ace... No, you... I mean,
Or
maybe...
even just bishop D2. No, I mean, not sure.
And that endgame would...
Good old bishop.
C6.
C6 tries to block the bishop on B7. The computer does not agree.
I think bishop F2, right?
2, and once again, you get that type of endgame.
Now bishop F2 and white is now winning. Ooh, Magnus goes B3.
Okay, I guess he's still in time to go bishop F2 next.
C4. Bishop F2.
There it comes.
And this
then
is...
he has
Yeah.
keep the rooks, because if he exchanges with little time, there's zero hope. I think he just... Magnus the better bullet player as well. Or at least I'm not aware of Andre being very experienced in this format. So I think you're just doomed here. He's been playing quickly, but I'm not sure if it's enough.
Yeah, beautiful. These two bishops are...
Look how
so-
quickly the white moves are coming in now.
Oh, but look at this. Time-wise, Magnus has 26 seconds. Andre has 18 seconds. Anything can happen here on the clock.
No. Andre is doomed. Magnus is so good at one minute chess, and Andre, I think, is less experienced and he has the worst position. Somehow these guys, they make it look so routine to convert stuff with 17, 18 seconds on the clock. It's insane. Okay, mouse slip. But no, not mouse slip. He had to pre-move and he guessed wrong. Magnus wins. As always,
Champion there.
handshake, good fight.
And I think it's the first smile for Magnus today. Like, apart from the fans on the board, I think he had come here to get the job done, and he does it in style.
Never looks easy. Even here, there were some moments that
Yeah.
weren't obvious, but like you can't argue with how good he is and how many of those he does come through in the end. It's just very, very impressive.
I loved how you were looking at the game and saying, like, wow, so accurate, right? So many moves were accurate in this last game.
Especially in clutch time. Sometimes he messes around a bit in the opening, or we've seen before, if it's not an elimination. It's an elimination game, both have 1 minute. He just turns into perfection, and I don't know. It's very special to become stronger when the stakes get higher.
Yeah.
Like,
Just rise up to the
Nice.
occasion.
yeah. No, very impressive stuff. And that brings us to the end. We should, at least for completeness sake, look at who finished third, because we ignored these guys. To the end of the tournament, and it looks like Le Quang beats Jose Martinez,
Finishes third there.
finishes third. Congratulations to him as well. And yeah, congratulations, of course, to Magnus Carlsen, our winner, Andrei Yesipenko. And we should, or I should say, thank you to WR Chess and the Thailand Chess Federation. I've seen all the helpers down there. I think they put together an amazing event in maybe my favorite city in the world, here in Bangkok. Hopefully all the chess players enjoyed it as well. Thank you to the Four Seasons, one of the nicest hotels.
I'm here with the winner of the 2026 Asean Esports Chess Cup, Magnus. Congratulations. That was quite the final against Andre. In our previous interview, you referenced what I believe the 2021 World Cup match against him, and Andre put up a great fight again. How does it feel first to win this event?
No, it feels great to win. I felt that both the semifinal and the final were really fun matches. I won the first one. I don't think I was particularly better because in compensation for my bishop pair, he had really well placed pieces, but then as soon as I kind of activate my pieces, it can go badly very quickly. The second game, I didn't really want to play for a draw too much. And I saw that he'd played this bishop g5 Italian stuff and in a previous game against one of the local players, even though that, to be fair, didn't go very well. I thought, and I'm not feeling that, so let's not play for a draw. But then, of course, the game ended pretty abruptly when I'd forgotten the rules of chess and that he could castle queenside, whereupon I pretty much have to resign immediately. So that was a bit unfortunate, but I feel like I managed to put up a pretty decent grind in the Armageddon game. I think he had one chance to kind of solve his problems very well there. I think he needed to play f takes e4 before he played knight takes e5. After what he played, at least in practice, it was pretty difficult since both of his queenside pawns are hanging, and I'm really kind of just using my activity as a decoy to get the bishop pair and then to get one of the pawns over there. And yeah, fortunately I had enough time to convert.
You won the Esports World Cup last summer in Riyadh. Now you're the winner here. How do you enjoy playing in these esport formats?
No, it's always nice, but I do enjoy it a bit more when I can have something on my ear and sort of block everything out.
We just heard the home crowd, I think, cheering when they found out you won the match. There were a lot of fans here. How did it feel, and was it your first time playing in Thailand?
Yeah, it was my first time playing here, and it's a big country that I think is making progress in chess as well, and it's nice to be here.
And the final question, your next event is in another format yet again, a team tournament in Hong Kong with the team WR Chess. Do you look forward to that?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't play last year, but the year before that we weren't even close to winning the rapid event. So I guess we, or at least I, wanna try and rectify that.
Magnus, congratulations once again and best of luck in Hong Kong.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations to Magnus Carlsen. Always impressive how much not he just saw and evaluated, but even understood where the moment lied for Yesipenko to have a chance in the Armageddon. Keeps being a privilege to watch Magnus in action. And that brings us to the end of the first Asian Esports Chess Cup here from Bangkok, Thailand. Thank you so much to Vadim Rosenstein, WR Chess, the Thailand Chess Federation, Four Seasons Hotel, the team here making this show possible, being flexible. And I think overall this has been a very successful format. Get Magnus some earplugs next time, and hopefully we'll have more of these things. Thanks to you, dear viewers, if anybody out there is watching this. Apologies for my posture and my ramblings. See you guys next time, maybe in Hong Kong. Bye-bye.